Chandler got a hand on completion. We'll see how they call this. I think it was completion and then a fumble.
There was number 80, William Chandler, 6'4", 180-pound senior, stripped the ball out of his hands, but it was recovered by Maple Valley.
All right, and Maple Valley, of course, that gets a big break to recover their own fumble, Jimmy.
That was Brent Haig that made the catch and then recovered his own fumble alertly, Jerry.
Okay, Heffler now is out. Hands off this time. Oh, and slipping down. Absolutely no gain. Tough break for Ron Merrill because he had some run room off the right side. It was just a little counter play that time, Dave.
Yep, he had the hole, but his footing didn't hold up.
Well, it could be a little slippery. We had some rain, you know, yesterday, just a little bit heavy at times in spurts. And first, we had a storm that came rolling through here. So let's see what happens here now. They come out here now, double back formation. Hofer, quarterback, flanker, wide to the right. This time they hand off up the middle, and Tigers are starting to close in just a little bit. Look pretty good. Matt Latinga in on the stop there amongst 2 or 3 other Tigers. Well, there's 7:18 to go here. It's going to be, I can't make out the marker down there where it's resting right now, but I believe it's in about the 6-yard line. It's 3rd down and goal. Double back formation now. Hofer the quarterback. Tigers suck in tight. Gonna pass. Lefty puts it up. It's out and within reach. It's touchdown. Nice pass play that time. On the receiving end there for the Maple Valley Lions. Ronnie Merrill on the receiving end. Hofer, nice throw. You know, he is a lefty. Drop back, threw a nice pass, and Merrill did a nice job breaking away.
He threw a nice pass on the run, too.
Jimmy, any comments?
Well, what was impressive about that, Jerry, is there was a blitz on the other side of the line by the St. Philip Tigers. The pressure was coming hot and heavy, but he stood in there nice and strong, Mr. Hofer did, and threw that touchdown pass.
Well, Hofer kicks also, and he's left-footed as well as left-handed, and he gets it up. It is good, the official says. So with 6:56 to go here in the first quarter, it's Maple Valley Lions 7, St. Philip Tigers nothing. You know, Dave, they did seem to suck it up here pretty good, the Tigers on defense, after Maple Valley just ran wild there initially in about the first 6 minutes of this first quarter.
Yeah, they were playing some excellent goal line defense there. And it looks like Jason Holfer for the Maple Valley Lions is pretty much a key player for him tonight.
Okay, let's announce the cheerleaders now for the St. Philip Tigers. Angie Fawzi, Janet Tabowski, Darcy Klein, Beth Diaz, Carrie Adams, Jenny Goley, and Carrie Culp. So nice job, gals. And Maple Valley, I guess you can go ahead and announce them, David.
And for the Maple Valley Lions, Amy Roscoe, Stacy Wood, Kim Tutt, Dee Dee Cantrell, Dawn Root, Tanya Schaefer, Jamie Joseph, Janice Matter, Angel Bryan, and Nicole Costin.
Okay, Hofer will kick off for Maple Valley. Does just about all the kicking chores. Is the quarterback, of course, for Maple Valley. Jimmy Pearl is back deep for the St. Philip Tigers. And joining him back there is Eric Culp, as well as Luke Dahm. So let's see where we go here. Hofer gets it off. It's a nice, decent kick. Picked off on about the 10-yard line. And right up the middle, nice little twisting, turning action. Gets the ball up to about the 35-yard line. The Tigers will take it from there. That's Jimmy Pearl on the carry.
You notice back in the backfield of the Tigers, they didn't get mixed up there. They had better communication and got a lot more yards.
You know, Jimmy, I mentioned we had Sports Saturday here earlier this morning. Of course, Jack Brown for the St. Philip Tigers mentioned he played at Lakeview. We'll get back to that in just a minute. His son, Tony Brown, now quarterback, hands off right side and getting some running room, picking up a couple of yards. Culp on the carry. Gets the ball up to about the 45-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down from that point. Jimmy, you got the starting lineups here for the St. Philip Tigers.
Yes, I do, Jerry. On offense here, we have at right end Anthony Hardy, at right tackle Kevin Curtis, at right guard Matt Latinga, at center Charles Lonergan, at left guard Charles O'Byrick, left tackle Bill Zinke, and left end Pat Lucas will get the backfield after this play.
Okay, they picked up 4 yards on that play. Brown going to keep it, rolls left, wants to throw, lost it high in the air. A wide open man is on the catch. Beautiful catch. Tremendous catch that time. Well led, Eric Culp on the carry, and all the way down to the 35-yard line of the Maple Valley Lions. The Tigers answer the charge. What a nice play. Brown drops back. Looked like a little confusion at first, David, but rolled to his left side, lofts the ball, led Culp just perfectly. Nice catch, 1st down.
Culp ran that ball with confidence. He seen it over his shoulder and grabbed it and just snugged it and ran.
Okay, let's see what the Tigers can do. Remember, Pearl in the backfield. Brown, the quarterback. Hands off this time on a reverse play. Oh, and there waiting was the Maple Valleys. That was Culp on the carry. And waiting for Culp as they tried that little reverse action was Darrell Stein, and he's 6'2", 200 pounds. That had to be some kind of momentum when he hit him.
Oh, just like a freight train.
Well, there's a big loss on that, Jim Hughes.
Beautiful containment by the left side defensive end. He stayed home right like he was supposed to, and the reverse had no effect on him, a loss of 4 yards.
That's a play Michael Reese used to run real well back in '85, the state champions. Okay, Tony Brown rots back. He's going to throw. He's been successful. Oh, nice catch. Oh, about a 15-yard completion. And what a throw. Luke Dahm on the receiving end. Tony Brown rolled to the right. Didn't have a whole lot of time, but laid it in the hands. I'll tell you, that had to be a nice catch. He had to do some magic to catch that, David.
Oh, Dom jumped up out of nowhere, and that's what the Tigers need to win this game, is nice passes and good running.
Tigers on the move. It's third. Let's call it about 4 or 5. Tony Brown now, seasoned quarterback, drops back, ends off the draw play up the middle, got some running room. Oh, he may be just a little bit short. That's Pearl on the carry, brought down by a couple of Maple Valley Lions. And let's give some credit here. That's Ron Merrill was one of them in on the play, and Travis Hokinson.
Lions had some beautiful defense right there.
Well, the ball right now rests on about, let's call it the 25-yard line. Jimmy?
Good recovery by the defense on that, Jerry. That draw play looked wide open, but they held that just a 3-yard gain. Good, quick recovery by the linebackers of Maple Valley.
Okay, out they come. Tony Brown, quarterback. He's down over his center now, rolls to the left side, hands on a handoff to the left side. And that's, is that Pearl? And it's Culp on the carry. Culp picks up 3 or 4 yards, and that's going to be, I think that's a first down. It is a first down. So the ball will rest right now. Let's call it about the 24-yard line. So the Tigers have got something going. Following a touchdown by the Maple Valley Lions, the Tigers have received the kickoff, have marched strongly down the field. At the direction and at the helm, Tony Brown. Dropping back as Brown looks left. No, hesitates. Finally lost it high. It's maybe just a little bit too high. And once again, his favorite target, Eric Culp, but into the end zone, just outside the end zone area. They'll have to bring it back. It'll be 2nd 10, 3:58 to go, 7-0. The Tigers trail, but you have to give them credit. They look pretty good on this offensive drive.
They sure do. That touchdown by the Maple Valley Lions sparked the Tigers into something fierce.
Jimmy.
Quickly, the offensive backfield for St. Phil. Tony Brown at quarterback. And at the running back spot, we have Jimmy Pearl, Luke Dahm, and Eric Culp.
Okay, Tigers now. Brock, Mike Lee. Flanker out wide to the right. Brown's rolling right, looking for Mike Lee. He's being pursued. Finally dumps it, and they're going to call a flag. There's a flag drop. That's going to be a penalty marker. Nobody out there anywhere, Jim Hughes.
This is going to be intentional grounding, Jerry, and if I'm not mistaken, this is not only a penalty that'll push them backwards, but there's also a loss of down. So that can really hurt the Tigers' fortunes here as they are in Maple Valley territory for the first time.
Well, and that's true, and it's Brown rolled to the right, and I don't know whether it was a man supposed to be there, but in any event, there wasn't one there, so it's a penalty.
Well, Jerry, you know, so far tonight, Tony Brown looks like he's on his game. You know, last year he had a great year. He was all city, completed 54% of his passes for 1,172 yards, 13 touchdowns. So far this year in 2 games, he's hitting just 38.9% of his passes and no touchdowns, so he looks like he's back on his game here tonight.
3:51 to go, trailing 7-0. The Tigers have their backs to the wall. It's 3rd and 22. Brown will pass. He rolls to the left side, looking for Culp. He's going to loft it to Culp. It's high, and Culp turns. Oh, it's just underthrown. A couple of defensive backs back to cover, but just underthrown that time, David.
Yep, he ran about 3 yards past it.
Well, you know, on the left side, and it's a little slippery there anyway, so even if he wanted to, I don't think he could have turned and come back.
No, to turn and come back would have been a astonishing play.
Almost impossible. Over on the far side of the field, we look and we see Maple Valley brought a huge crowd here tonight. Tigers have a lot of people here also. Let's go right back out to the field here. Tigers are going to have to kick. It's 4th and 23. They'd like to get it down deep near the end zone of Maple Valley. Culp now on the kick. Gets it up, almost blocked. Decent kick. And it's going to come down, covered by the Tigers, gets a Tiger bounce, and it's going to be dropped somewhere within the 10-yard line, within the 10-yard and the goal line, it looks from this vantage point, David.
Got that ball a little backspin on it, Jerry.
Well, like I say, you know, that was it's on the 13-yard line, so we don't really have a tremendous vantage point from here as far as yardage markers, you guys, but Maple Valley are taking it from there, Jimmy.
Well, you know, that's a nice kick, even if it's just 25 yards, which that was, but it puts a team inside their own 20, and that's always the goal of the special teams in that situation.
Hofer, the quarterback. Now they've shown several different formations. This time they're in the T formation. Hands off this time to Merrill. Breaks one tackle, gets to the outside, spins, turns, and picks up a first down. Tremendous run once again by these backs for Maple Valley. On the stop that time was Pat Lucas and Culp.
Yep, Eric Culp. He's all over that field tonight and playing an excellent game.
Yeah, but the problem is for the Tigers right now is just that they had them back deep, but Maple Valley got themselves out of a hole. The ball rests at the 25-yard line. They come out in a different formation. Double back pitch out to the left side to Merrill. Gets around that outside. He's been free all night on that. Picks up another 10, 12 yards. Gets the ball all the way up to about the 40, 41-yard line. Another first down. Jimmy, what are they going to have to do here to stop this outside run?
Well, it's amazing to me, Jerry. It's a straight T formation run by Maple Valley, and they're running around the end, even though they have two tight end formation. There is no wide receiver out there blocking, but they are still getting around that corner unmolested, it seems, and they're going for 10 yards before anyone touches them. Just a really effective blocking job by the Maple Valley team at this point.
Well, it's 1st and 10 here. We're still in the first quarter, and some running room once again. Merrill running like a man possessed. And picks up about 8 yards, and that was Franks on the carry that time, not Merrill. Danny Franks, 5'10", 155-pound senior. Nice run. They're picking on the left side.
It looks like the tailbacks are coming in with the blocks, but still, it's astonishing how they can run it to the outside and gain so much yardage.
Tigers are bringing players in on defense, trading them in and out. It's on the 45-yard line. Double back formation. Hofer. Hands off this time right up the middle. It's a fumble. The Tigers are on it. A big break for the Tigers at their own 47-yard line. Did you see who was on the cover that time?
I didn't see who was on the cover, but that's a big break for the Tigers right now. After the Lions touchdown, they came down with some spunk.
All right, interesting enough, Troy Ramos was in on that recovery. He just, as I mentioned, went into the ball game, and for one play, and I think that was the play, went in to get the recovery on the fumble. Now, he comes out of the ball game right after that. Okay, let's see what Brown can do. The ball rests the 47-yard line, still in first quarter action, 2:40 to go. Brown quarterbacking, fakes. They're going to try reverse again, and Culp. And I'll tell you, it's like a replay. In fact, I think the same back was there, Darrell Stein, to make the stop. It looks like almost a replay.
It looked like there's a little confusion in the backfield for the Tigers. Their quarterback, number 21, Tony Brown, made a fake handoff and looked like he thought someone was supposed to take the ball.
Well, they did take it, and it is a reverse. That's a set-up play where the wingman on the outside is supposed to wait for a couple of fake hands-off, and it's just not working. They tried that twice, and now they are very, very deep. It's 2nd and 17. Brown will have to throw. Nice block. Throws it out. Oh, and it's intercepted. Intended for Culp. Intercepted now at the 40-yard line, and all the way down deep into Tiger territory. Tremendous interception that time by Jeff Moore, 6'3", 175-pound senior. Takes the ball all the way down here. We'll have to spot it, but I think it's going to be on about the 23-yard line, somewhere in that area.
It bounced off a couple Tigers and hit a Lion.
32-yard interception return that time, too, by the Maple Valley player. Just a situation where a tipped ball, you know, and they run these tip drills in practice all the time, Jerry. It's a tipped ball, and the defenders were very alert to the situation, caught it, and ran right down the sideline for a nice gain.
Well, Tigers get a break, and Lions take it right back. Hofer hands off this time, or they'll try the right side. They'll pick up 2 or 3 yards. Culp, once again, he's like you mentioned, David, everywhere here tonight. Dawn was in on the stop also, but they pick up 2 or 3 yards on that, and they're not moving the markers as of this point here, but it's going to be a pickup of about, just incredible, another 6-yard pickup, so it's going to be 2nd and about 4 from that point. Hofer, quarterback, they come out this time into wishbone. They hand off this time left side. Franks has it, gets away from one man, gets to the outside, and is going to pick up another first down before he's pushed out of bounds somewhere in the vicinity of the 10-yard line. Maple Valley Lions have a lot of quickness tonight, Jimmy Hughes.
Well, tremendous. In fact, I thought that was going to be a loss on that, Jerry. and I'm sure everybody watching this at home thought that was going to be a loss in the backfield. There was 2 Tigers out there, and it was just a case of pure speed to get around that corner.
Well,
got
Bill
around
Zink,
for a 6-yard gain and a first down. Just believable.
Bill Zink was in on that, was in there quickly in the backfield, but that quick back got to the outside. Frank's a nice runner, David.
He sure is. Number 80, William Chandler, came out of nowhere and helped the push out.
Oh, let's see what they do. Frank's to the outside. Little dip in, get on close to the end zone, and they're going to cut him off short, I think about a yard short from where we're sitting here right now. But Franks did a little dip to the inside, quickly cut to the outside. That's Dan Franks, 5'10", 155-pound senior, and he certainly carried the meatloaf that time.
Right to the right side of the hash. And
well, 45 seconds to go here, Dave, and Maple Valley could get another score in here in the first quarter. They already are ahead 7-0. Hofer quarterbacks. This time they go inside. Franks dives in. The officials, all of them, say it's good, so it's 13-0 at this point, and I'm sure Hofer, who does all the kicking chores too, they'll go for another extra point here, but looking very, very good here tonight, and the stats are going to be very interesting and one-sided, I think, at this point. Although, David, the Tigers did make a nice charge after that first touchdown and just weren't consistent enough to take it down in for the score.
They had the spunk after that first touchdown, but they lost the ball on a punt and came back on a recovery of a fumble, but didn't go nowhere with it.
Well, the kick is good, and it takes it to 14, so with 34 seconds to go, it's 14-0. Jimmy, what you got on the stats here?
Well, Jerry, so far the running attack obviously is really very effective for Maple Valley. They're being led right now by Ron Merrill. He has 62 yards on just 5 carries. That's a 12.4-yard average. And chipping in is the gentleman that just scored, Mr. Franks there from Maple Valley, and he has 38 yards rushing already, Jerry. So I am sure as a team they are over 100 yards because those 2 gentlemen already equal 100 yards by themselves, and there's a couple other backs that have been involved. So what an effective offensive scheme so far here in the first quarter by Maple Valley. The straight T with 2 tight ends, Jerry, I just cannot believe that St. Philip is not that effective around the end, because you'd think that their containment would not be blocked out there. They'd have the angle, but they are being blocked out very effectively, and I'm very impressed by the Maple Valley execution at this point in the contest.
Well, Jim, it's a senior-laden team here for Maple Valley. The Tigers have very few seniors, a very young ball club here. But Mike Hume will get his charge back, and a nice kick to Culp this time from Hofer. He'll probably let it go out of bounds. It does, about a yard close to the end zone, but that'll be a 5-yard penalty. They'll bring it back here, so that is a break for the Tigers. May seem minimal, but sometimes they turn out to be big payoffs.
The breaks are what the Tigers need right now, down 14-0 with 34 seconds left in the first quarter.
Well, 34 seconds to go, and like you said, no time went off that clock because nobody touched it, so it'll come back here. And the Tigers, they had a real nice drive there, but really to no avail, and they're going to have to be somewhere a little more consistent.
A turnover apiece for each team, Jerry, but the difference in that is that the turnover, the interception that Maple Valley got, they took that in for a touchdown. The fumble recovery that St. Philip got, they did nothing with that offensively as far as scoring points, so that really, really hurts. It's basically going from a 7-7 possibility if it had been turned around the other way, with St. Phil being effective off the turnover, and that makes it 14-0 because it was the other way around. So
Jerry Reese, David By, Jimmy Hughes bringing it to you. Access Vision for your viewing and listening pleasure as Hofer gets one off to Culp. Culp takes it in on about the 15-yard line, dips inside, outside, excellent run, nice move, oh, twisting, turning his way right before our eyes at the 50-yard line. Fellas, you won't see a better kickoff return all year long.
Culp just looked invisible out there to the defenseman, and he ran right between them.
Oh, I'll tell you, Jimmy, he went in and outside about 6 or 7 defenders.
Well, he got a lot of help from his friends, Jerry. That was tremendous blocking by the St. Philip special teams on that play.
Okay, with 18 seconds to go here in the clock, moving the ball, rests right now at the halfway point for the St. Philip Tigers. Tony Brown down over his center now, and they have wing T formation. This time they're going to hand off the right side. Oh, my goodness, Stein right there waiting once again. It's going to be about a 5-yard loss. So those delay actions are just not working as we end the first quarter. Maple Valley Lions 14, St. Philip Tigers nothing. Jim, we should give the defense a starting lineup for the Maple Valley Lions.
Okay, starting for defense for Maple Valley, they run a 5-4-2 defense, Jerry. And one defensive end is Darrell Stein. At defensive tackle, Willis Rugg. At nose guard, Duff Laverty. At defensive tackle on the other side is John Shag, and the other far side defensive end is Mark Niemer. On the inside linebacker spots, there's 2 of those, and that's Travis Hokanson and Scott Castile. And Scott Castile is an all-league wide receiver last year, Jerry, on offense, so he's going both ways. Quarterback spots are manned by Ron Merrill and Dan Franks, the two running backs that are so effective so far tonight. And at safety, Jeff Moore, who's 6'3", Jerry, and he's been on 2 tipped balls already. His height really comes into play in the defensive backfield so far for Maple Valley. I want to throw that in because we haven't mentioned that so far. The other safety, Jason Hofler, the quarterback on offense, and I'm sure the quarterback on defense also.
Steve Mobley is the director here for this access vision tonight, Dave, and doing an excellent job. And we probably ought to mention the camera crew also.
It's Sherry Wellwood, Brian Seymour, Amy Briggs, Bobby Hale, and Amy Ott.
And, of course, Amy has been working very, very close to us. They're changing around on camera work here so that these kids can do different kinds of experiences from different angles, Dave. And, of course, Tammy Lawrence, which is your teacher out to Harbor Creek, and these are all Harbor Creek students that are here. And you guys do an excellent job in the field of communication, and it's quite a nice little challenge for you, I think. You're doing an excellent job here.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, as David chuckles a little bit here, Tony Brown now comes out. He's got his work cut out. Left side, they give to Culp once again. And Culp picks up about 4, maybe 5 yards. Now let's call it 4 yards. And it's going to be 3rd and 11. The ball rests right now at about the 49-yard line of the Tigers.
You know, Culp's running the ball quite good, but if they don't start scoring some touchdowns, and Culp's going to get pretty tired, you got to look ahead and wonder who's going to start with the St. Philip Tigers in the second half of the game.
I think you make a good point there, Dave. The Tiger defense can't stay on the field. Now, remember, they're short of numbers. Brown brings this team out now. They take wing team. Culp is going to the right side this time, and the defenders just march right through the Tiger offensive line, and the right side of the Tiger line just gave in, and 2 or 3 Maple Valley Lions in on the stop that time.
The Lions are throwing out some great defense tonight.
Well, it's 4th down here, 4th and 13. They're going to have to kick, Jimmy.
That's right, Jerry, and one of the reasons is because they're so ineffective on the ground. In fact, Eric Culp coming into this contest averaging over 7 yards a carry. Right now he has -6 total yards rushing.
Incredible. It looks like he's doing so well out here, but like you say, high kick, gets it, Culp kicks in, it's going to be too high. Will not get much to see what kind of a kick they get. Oh, it gets a Tiger bounce, and it'll go down deep into Lion territory, and the Lions will take it about the 19-yard line, first down. That was not intended to be a very long kick that time, but nice bounce for the Tigers.
Ended up being a 34-yard punt. Very effective, Jerry, when you can get a 34-yard punt, and it's a 34-yard net punt, and net, I mean, there is no return. So a beautiful punt, really, as it ended up. It really didn't look all that great happening, but the end result is fantastic for the Tigers.
Well, you know, we do want to announce this is a Saturday night game. That means the format will change just a little bit. They'll be viewing this on Channel 34 Access Vision at 5 o'clock on Sunday evening, and then, in my understanding, in midweek at 7 p.m. Is that correct?
It sure is.
Okay, let's see what Hofer does. Hands off this time to the right side. I think that was a different back in there that time. If that, do they have a 32 or is, I don't see a 32 here. Let's see who comes back from the huddle on the carry that time. No, I think that was Merrill on the carry. So back to the huddle they go. It's going to be now, it picked up about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. So Maple Valley has not had a whole lot of trouble moving the ball here tonight, guys.
No, on the ground and in the air, they're doing an excellent job.
Well, this time they have a single back and then rolling to the right. Hofer wants to pitch, does at the last second, cutting inside is Franks. He'll pick up another couple yards. That play was designed to go to the outside on a little pitch there, but just wasn't going to go anywhere, but Franks made something out of nothing.
Well, give the credit to the quarterback, Jason Hofer, Jerry. He was going down on a tackle. He had just got hit. He had the presence of mind to pitch, and he pitched it very crisply, and a beautiful cut by Franks right as he caught the ball and got him down the field for a nice 5-yard gain.
Okay, let's see what Hofer can do now. This time they come out T formation. They change the look every now and then, cutting to the inside. And that was a 3rd down play. They had to get a yard. I think they picked it up, David.
I think they've got it. The linesmen are moving down. But I know the Tigers on that last play 2 plays ago, they made a beautiful stop on the outside play. Maybe Mike Hume has discovered something to stop that outside run by the Lions.
Okay, the ball rests on about the 31-yard line. Maple Valley on the move again. They are heading this ball game 14-0. We are in second quarter, 9 minutes to go. Hofer doing a good job. He's a lefty. Now they have a double back. Shows something different, and right up the middle, Merrill. He'll pick up 4 or 5 yards, so they're just tremendous yardage tonight on the ground. You know, we started to mention earlier here about Jack Brown. We kidded him a little bit on our show, Sports Saturday, Jimmy, and Jack Brown, you remember us talking about him, Corky and Buzz McNally, and of course we had Alan Gibbs down there. But Jack Brown is a defensive coach here for the St. Philip Tigers. Played his high school ball with the Lakeview Spartans. We'll go back to it. His son is Tony Brown. But now, Maple Valley, once again, right up the middle, and another first down. Merrill on the carry. A lot of Tigers on the stop, but they're getting a big jump off the line of scrimmage, David.
Maple Valley showing that they cannot run the ball only outside, but up the middle, which they didn't show in the beginning of the game.
And I think it's confusing, don't you, Jimmy, that they're showing so many different looks in the backfield.
Well, I'm really impressed with the quarterback, Jason Hofler. He is having such great fakes in the backfield. It's tremendous deception, and it's really fooling the Tigers.
Okay, he pitches this time out to Merrill to the left side. Got some running room, does a little dipsy doodle. Again, has a couple of would-be tacklers, shakes them, gets all the way down to the 37-yard line of the St. Philip Tigers with 8 minutes to go. Another first down. Jimmy, where do we stand on first downs with these Maple Valley? Do you have a quick number on that?
Yes, we do, Jerry. We have 11 first downs in the contest already for Maple Valley, and just 2 for the St. Philip Tigers. None here in the second quarter.
Well, and 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. I'm impressed with Maple Valley. And, of course, SMAA action is what we're seeing here tonight. And we'll give you a little update on where we're headed with SMAA. Penfield, of course, is a front runner along with Maple Valley. This time, Merrill to the right side, and he cuts right off the tackle slot. And they're playing really penalty-free ball right now, it seems to be, David.
No, they really are, Jerry. They're just doing such nice things. Beautiful execution is the key, and they are really very crisp on their blocks and very crisp in their execution. They're doing it legally. They're not getting called for any penalties. And I'll tell you what, they are so effective on the offensive line, which was supposed to be their weakness coming into this season. I'm very impressed.
Tammy Lawrence, thank you for sending us David. I'm really enjoying this guy. Frank's the left side. This kid can scoot. He's got to go. And a little push at the last second out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. St. Philip Tigers, Jimmy Pearl, saved a touchdown because this kid, Franks, dipped to the inside again. A favorite move of him. Got to the outside, fleet-footed, almost all the way, David.
He sure did, but Jimmy Pearl, number 44, came out of nowhere.
Boy, he sure did, and what a nice stop. And I'll tell you, with 7 minutes to go, Maple Valley, excellent look. Gunther Middlestat has got his team charging and on the move again. Okay, let's see as Jason Hofer comes out. Let's see what he does this time. Double back formation. The rest of them are on the line around the left side. Franks, they said, let's finish it off. But waiting on the Tigers. Nice job that time by Bill Zink. 6'1", 190 pounds, just a sophomore, David.
Yeah, but it looked like that a few loss of yards.
David, you're just a sophomore also, so you must know what that is like to be a sophomore out there in the field. You play a lot of soccer.
You better look back at the record books, Jerry. I'm a senior.
Oh, you are a senior. Yeah, we're talking about Mark Carmen. That's right. Go ahead.
Well, that was a good play there time by the St. Phil defense, but the offense is so effective for Maple Valley, they still gained 3 yards, Jerry. Very tough offense so far for Maple Valley.
You hear him looking at the record books, getting smart with me. Okay, Frank's out to the right side here, being pursued. He'll not get in this time as the red and white St. Philip Tigers. That's Mr. Pearl once again, pushes him to the outside, out of bounds, so it's going to be, that's Culp, I'm sorry. So I'm not sure where the yard line marker is going to be right now, but it is going to be third down. Let's call it about 5.
Even though St. Philip is getting moved back on the field, back to the wall, they're showing some excellent goal line defense.
Maple Valley, white helmets, blue jerseys, or white jerseys, blue pants, and out they come. They pitch to the left side. This time it's Merrill's turn. He's turned to the inside. So the defensive end did his job. Once again, Mr. Zink on the stop for the St. Philip Tigers. They're looking very good, you guys, when they get down there close. They've really sucked it up well.
That's what St. Phil needs, but they need to stop the touchdowns because that's what's going to make them lose.
Well, there's a timeout on the field right now. It is a beautiful night. Not nearly as cold as it was last week, Jim Hughes, with 6:48 to go here in the second quarter. Down here in CW Pulse Field. And, of course, I think we have a little better vantage point to see this game here tonight.
Yes, it's very nice, Jerry, and the field really looks in nice shape, even though we did have that thunderstorm come through yesterday. It was awfully hard, but the field looks in pretty good shape. So I'd say that everybody's doing a good job out there with their footing and everything. We've only seen really one slip tonight, so that's really not a factor in this contest. But what is a factor is the outside speed of the Maple Valley backfield. You know, Jerry, if you noticed, and they have not changed since the starting bell tonight, the straight T formation with the 2 tight ends is doing a great job of blocking in the middle, but it's the backs and their speed getting around the end. It's just pure speed. There's 2 St. Phil guys out there every time,
well,
it seems like, and they're running right by him.
Jack Brown, defensive coordinator, has made some adjustments here, particularly down close. He's turned them to the inside. They have to do that. They can't let them get to the outside. You turn them to the inside, there's many more numbers that are going to be there on the stop.
Well, that's right, Jerry, but of course, if the defense is spread out now, look for Maple Valley to go in off guard or off tackle and try to take the splits up the middle and see if they're effective that way.
Well, that's where coaching comes in, and that's probably what Middlestadt will do. Okay, let's see what Hofer's instructors are now. They come out with a different look. Double back, he's going to pass. Rolls out, he's left-handed, fires it to the right side of the end zone, and waiting at another touchdown for Maple Valley. Scott Castile, 6'3", 185-pound. He is a senior, and remember, he dropped one early right over here in front of us. But when it counted, the chips were down. Nice throw by Holter once again. Spiral all the way, Dave, and a nice grab.
It's just amazing. The Lions are mixing up their plays. They're not predicting anything at all. They're just going out there and throwing the passes, ground plays, right and left. They're just doing the job well.
And they did an excellent job that time. Touchdown right side of the end zone. And, of course, they'll try the extra point. That'll be Mr. Everything Hofer, who is the quarterback, Jason Hofer. And there's a whistle, a flag, penalty marker, whatever you want to call it, but the old yellow hanky is down again.
Well, Jerry, in this contest, you really have to be impressed with Jason Hofer. You know, he doesn't get much credit as far as the yardage gained on the ground because he's not the one with a final carry, but he's doing such a great job of faking, running the straight to you offense. The deception is beautiful to watch from this vantage point. And, of course, he's only thrown 4 passes, but 3 of them have been completed, Jerry, 2 of them for touchdowns. So he has been extremely effective from the quarterback position. And, of course, now he's here to try to kick his 3rd extra point also. He's made 2 for 2. Jason Hofler, even though he might not have the statistics to show, I think is a very, very big key in this contest so far.
Well, Jack Brown's going out now to the Tigers. You know, we mentioned that the Tigers have very few seniors tonight on their ball club, Jim. I think they have about 8 seniors. That means a very young ball club. And, of course, Jack has been with the St. Philip Tigers, the defensive coordinator, for years and years and years and years and years and years. And we know when he played ball for Lakeview was back in ancient history. But they got their work cut out for him.
Well, that's right, Jerry. You know, another thing, you talk about St. Philip being young. Maple Valley, on the other hand, is very experienced. They returned 17 Lettermen this year. And I'll tell you what, you got to have those Lettermen coming back to really get a good start off in your season. When you have the confidence from the start, you get a couple wins under your belt. It only gels and snowballs to a very effective season.
You made a great point there, Jim, with 17 Lettermen for the Lions and only 5 Lettermen returning for the St. Philip Tigers.
Hey, let's get out to you a little bit in Harper Creek here. Harper Creek finally put one on the board here against the Marshall Redskins last night.
Oh, yes, they were predicted to lose, but came out with a 20-0 victory.
So congratulations to Eddie Greenman on his first win, and, of course, he's going to be defending champion, Harper Creek Beavers, in Twin Valley action. Hofer going to go for 2. He's rolling left side. Rifles went in there, and it is incomplete as the pass was a little bit low. Good coverage by the St. Philip Tigers. So the score remains Maple Valley 20, St. Philip Tigers nothing. We're still in second quarter, guys. 6:42 to go here.
Starting to get a little nippy out, too.
Well, it is a little bit nippy, and it may very well get a little nippier, but I have come well geared here tonight. You see the shirt I've got on here right now? Dave, you like the shirt? You like it?
It's great.
You like the tie, too? No.
Yeah, my grandfather wore one like that.
Oh, I love this kid. I really love this kid, you little. But anyway, Jimmy, what do you got for stats?
Well, Jerry, what's amazing in this contest, we've talked about how effective the ground game for Maple Valley is, and also Jason Hofer throwing the ball. 3 out of 4 and all that yardage, 3 TDs, 30 yards passing, in fact. We have a couple runners over 70 yards. We have Mr. Franks, and we also have number 31, and I forget his name right now, to be honest with you. We've called this so much. But anyway.
Merrill, yeah.
Okay, Merrill. Thank you, Jerry. But St. Phil, on the other hand, on the ground, so far in this contest, right to this moment, has -2 yards rushing on the ground, and they cannot win this contest if they're going to have that type of statistic.
Make a good point there once again, Jimmy Hughes. But, you know, you talk about my tie. I've got a brother-in-law, Keith Bernard. You ought to see his ties. You know, it looks like there's eggs all over him all the time, but that's the style. Sorry about that, Keith. Okay, the ball's in the air. Hofer down there deep. The Tigers take it on about the 15, running to the left side. Excellent run back that time by Jimmy Pearl as he takes the ball all the way back here to about the 35-yard line. Young man, how do you like the game tonight?
Oh, it's gonna look great.
You like it, huh? Who you for?
The Lions.
Maple Valley Lions?
Yeah.
You're on top, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, young man here from Maple Valley, and his team is winning here tonight. Access Vision Channel 34, Jerry Reese, along with David By and Jimmy Hughes here for your viewing and listening pleasure. Hoping and enjoying it, and I'm sure Maple Valley Lions are.
I bet they are over there. They have a lot of fans, but they look cold, but the heat from the score will warm them right up.
Let's see what Tony Brown can do here now. 35, hands off this time up the middle. Got some running room. We'll call it 3 or 4 yard pickup, and that's I'm not sure who's on that carry. Public address announcer said Dahm, but I don't think that was Dahm on the carry. Yeah, it was. Luke Dahm on the carry, 5'11", 160-pound. He is a senior. So the Tigers pick up a couple. It's going to 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. The ball rests right on the 40-yard line now. So they've got 3 yards on the first down here, Dave. What can they do?
I go for a nice little pass. It's 2nd and 7, and that's what they need. They need to get on the board before half.
Okay, and of course you were wrong again. Right. But they might as well throw them because I don't think they pick up anything at all there. They may have even lost a half a yard. On the carry was Jim Pearl for the St. Philip Tigers. It will be 3rd down. And David, I think if you call pass this time, you may be right.
That's what they need to win this game. Some nice passes. Get down there and score some touchdowns.
You know, we look up here at the flagpole over here, David, and you see the wind doesn't appear to be blowing very much, but that was the case last week, and we can tell you much different, can't we, Jim?
Yes, that's right, Jerry.
Okay, Tony Brown comes out now over a center, going to pass. David called this one, lost it to the left side. Pearl over on the far side, and he caught it. He caught that. What a great catch. I didn't think he had a chance. It looked like it was, of course, it's on the far side of the field. My eyes are not as good as they used to be, but it is a 1st down for the Tigers, David.
Oh, my eyes are perfect, and I couldn't believe he caught it. They must have heard me out there, Jerry.
Hey, did you have a good time going over there getting the cheerleaders' names for the Maple Valley?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to get numbers, too, but I was in such a hurry, you know.
Okay, 4:47 to go here. 2nd quarter action. Tigers have the ball. They trail 20-0. Now pitching to the right side, cutting on the inside. Nice running room, picking up 3 or 4 yards. That's Pearl on the carry. And Jim Hughes, it looks like the Tigers are finally getting something going, opening up those holes on the line a little bit.
That's right, but I think it's going to be Tony Brown the key tonight, Jerry. If St. Phil's going to get back in this contest, being down 20 points already with just 4 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the half, I think they're going to have to throw the ball at least half of the time here, because when it's incomplete, at least they'll stop the clock. But Tony Brown is an all-city selection. He has to throw the ball to open up this running game, and because of that completed pass, I believe that's why that running play right there was effective.
You make a good point. Okay, out they come. Wing T right this time. Brown looks things over now, and the center is calling something wrong with the ball here. And the official checks it out, and it's either wet, some marking on it or something, but the center for the St. Philip Tigers, and that's Charlie Lonergan, 6'3", 160-pound junior, alertly called the official in before they start this play. Now let's see what Brown can do now. It's 2nd and 7. The ball on the 45-yard, and he's going to pass. He rolls right side. He fires the ball, and it's caught! It's caught right in front of our eyes by Anthony Hardy, 5'11", 140-pound junior, and nice catch as the ball goes all the way down to about the 33-yard line, David. Nice throw, rifled it in there, and beautiful reception.
It sure was. Tony Brown, he's showing he can pass, and that's what the Tigers are going to need to get the points on the board.
Well, he didn't make All City for nothing, and that's for sure, and he's showing it tonight. Tigers trailing, but they've got all heart. They come out with the wing tee to the right. Brown down over his center now. Lonergan, hands off wide up the middle to Pearl. Got some running room, and he's very close to another 1st down. Twists and turns, did not give up. Several Maple Valley Lions in on the stop that time. Travis Hokinson was one of them. And let's see if we can give credit here. That was Dan Franks also, who plays 2 ways, in on the stop that time. But the Tigers did pick up a 1st down. So the St. Philip Tigers, St. Philip Catholic Central are on the move. 21-yard line. Tony Brown down now. They go wing T right. Once again, Brown down over the center. Looks over the defense. Taking a long time this time. Drops back, going to throw, rolling to the right, and he's going to loft it high. Oh, and having to turn. He was heading in the wrong direction. That was down on Luke. Dahm was down, and I think he was looking over the wrong shoulder. The pass was to his left. He was actually turning over his right shoulder and had to turn back, lost it. It was just a little bit overthrown, David.
Yeah, just a little bit, about 5 to 10 feet. That was just a little play mix-up there.
Okay, with 3 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter, in the second quarter. Can you move back, men, so I can see that clock here just a little bit? You're nice guys. Maple Valley, huh? Okay, out they come here now. Tony Brown, quarterback. They come out. They have wing T left this time. It's 1st and 10. Tigers, or 2nd and 10, I should say, for the Tigers. Can they take it in? Brown's going to pass. He's being pursued. Breaks away from one man and just fires the ball to the left side. And I'll tell you, Bill Chandler, if he'd have held on to that, that was a rocket, Jimmy Hughes.
Yes, it was, and probably not the best decision made tonight by Tony Brown. You know, he was almost knocked off his feet by the on-rushing lineman from Maple Valley, but he also threw into double coverage right there. Luckily, he threw it so hard and so well on target that it did hit William Chandler. He did drop the ball, unfortunately, for the St. Philip Tigers. But to throw into double coverage like that on a key drive where St. Philip really has to score to stay in the game is kind of a bad situation.
Excellent point. He was trying to thread that needle.
Okay, thread the needle, like it, Dave. Brown dropping back, going to throw, has flankers left and right, being pursued. Oh, and just as he throws it, I think it's picked off. It is by Hofler, and the Maple Valley Lions, Tony Brown, a lot of pressure on him that time by a defender, and just as he released it, I think not hit very hard, but just enough to affect his throwing. Hofler very alertly picked that off. It was a very low pass.
But definitely, Jerry, it was the blitz from the outside on the weak side that time, and it came up behind Tony. He could not see that because he's a right-hander, and he got hit in the back just as he let go of the ball. That's why there was 2 Maple Valley guys and no one from St. Phil around that ball. So good defensive pressure and good coaching by Maple Valley, you know, to blitz in this situation.
Hofer hands off this time to the left side. That's Franks on the carry. He's very quick, and there's going to be a flag. Now, I didn't see anybody back there blocking for him, so that's either a face mask. Well, I'm probably not right on that. Jimmy, I'll go right to you on that because you're always right.
I think this one's going to be a holding call, Jerry, on the offensive side of things.
Let's see if this is Dave. Let's see. Let's see if we can break his record here because the guy, I don't know why, he doesn't get any signals. He just somehow comes out with these things on top here.
It must be supernatural.
Well, he's something. He's something else is what he is.
Yeah.
Okay, it is 1st and 10. That's what the Maple Valley's had it. And just a simple handoff this time around the left side. Franks on the carry. You know, he's got that little stutter move, you guys. You notice to the inside. Well, if there's anybody surprised, I'm certainly not. Jimmy Hughes right again. It was holding. And that's going to take it back a little heavy back on about the 5-yard line. So it's 1st and 20 from that point for Maple Valley Lions. Hofer will drop back. He hands off a little draw play up the middle. That'll pick up a couple of yards. It's going to be 2nd and long from that point.
The Lions aren't getting anywhere tonight on the baseline there. The St. Philip Tigers are stopping them right away.
Hey, you know, we look up behind us. There is a pretty good crowd here tonight. Come out to see the Tigers and some good SMAA action. Of course, Maple Valley Lions. But, Jimmy, let's go right to you. You're the expert in the league. We know Penfield Panthers are tough, and this is their last year in the SMAA and football action. Maple Valley looks pretty tough, and let's get your comments here after this play. Hofer hands off this time right up the middle, picking up another 2 or 3 yards, and stopped by just a host of St. Philip Tigers here. Jimmy, your comments.
Well, Maple Valley looks tremendously strong, Jerry, and of course they won their first 2 contests, and they said, the coaches from Maple Valley did, that the 2 teams they beat were tough teams. And that has really prepared them now for the SMAA, and you can see the evidence of that tonight. 20-0 with 1:40 to go here in the second quarter. They really look strong, Jerry. And of course, they've got a lot of returning people back in the skill positions at quarterback and running back, and they have shown that skill tonight. No doubt about it. Maple Valley is a team to be reckoned with. Penfield also having a great year. They won last night 30-0, I believe, over Olivet. So I'll tell you, Penfield's running on all cylinders. You talk about a great matchup when Maple Valley and Penfield knock heads. I think the Panthers and Lions are really going to go tooth and nail on the field.
Well, I do too. And, you know, for the St. Philip Tigers, you couldn't ask for a tougher way to start, David. You know, they start out against #1 rated Mendon in Class D. They play Hopkins, who is always right up there. They're also very, very big, and they're well coached. And then they come in here for their first SMAA game, and that's against, of course, a very well-coached Maple Valley Lion ball club, and figure to be right in there for the championship. Of course, the St. Philip Tigers, remember, are defending champions, Jimmy Hughes, and remember, do you recall how they got that?
I certainly do, Jerry. It was somewhat of a fluke play, but a safety in the last 20 seconds of the ball game on a hike off of a punt. It crossed the end line.
Okay, here we go, and it's going to be Franks to the outside. Remember, he's a speedster. Nice stop that time by the St. Philip Tigers. and they're going to have to kick. On the stop for St. Phil. Did you pick up who that was? I think it was Matt Latinga that time.
Yep, the Tigers are putting on the defense that's going to be needed in this game against the tough Lions.
You know, you see the difference in this league, David. What do you feel that the difference is? Like you see Harper Creek play, of course, in a different classification, Class B, and this is Class D.
Well, besides a crowd differential, it's still good competition football.
I think that was an excellent answer. You got out of that real good, Dave. Jimmy?
Well, it's the mere numbers of the schools, Jerry, where the teams really have more people to choose from. Harper Creek, a Lakeview is, you know, pretty much twice as big as a St. Phil or even more. And because of that, they have more kids to choose from for their programs. Consequently, they're going to have bigger and faster players many times. Sometimes not, and when those situations happen, such as happened a few years ago, St. Phil went to the Dome because they had just as many skilled players, but those bigger schools have a lot more players to choose from. Therefore, they can usually have a few more guys that are a little more skillful, a little bigger, such as the 248-pound average of the Harper Creek offensive line that we've been talking about on our Sports Saturday show. You know, that's pretty tough to, you know, be up against if you're a Class D school. So St. Phil and Maple Valley really showing some great competition, as Dave already said.
Tigers have done a good job here of holding. They're going to have to kick from the end zone, almost blocked, and almost as good as a block. Let's see what kind of bounce. It bounces against Maple Valley, and of course for St. Phil, Tigers will have 1st and 10 on about the 12-yard line. Best field position here tonight, and with 1:26 to go, Tigers could have some momentum going in at halftime if they can just get in here for a score.
Tremendous coaching by Coach Mike Hume. You know, Jerry, after that third down play, St. Philip alertly called a quick timeout. They're down 20-0. They know they need to score here at the end of the half to be in this ball game, and then they put on the big rush to force a 5-yard punt. Tremendous coaching by Coach Mike Hume.
David, they got to get in here.
Yep, they sure did. It looked like someone got a hand on that punt.
All right, Brown's going to throw right, get a lot of pressure. Lost it over the middle. Oh, it's a touchdown. Beautiful play. That's Culp on the receiving end once again. What an excellent player. He has a feel for an opening on the defense. He went down the sidelines, looked for the opening on the zone defense, broke to the inside, split the defenders, and Brown just waited to the last second. And you said it before, threaded the needle into the arms, and Culp took it in, cradled it as he was falling. Tigers get on the board. Tony Brown calls a timeout. David, your comments.
Well, that was an excellent punt, Jerry. But with 1:20 left in the half, that's what the Tigers needed to spark them back up and get them pumped up for the second half.
Well, I know that Michael Hume, you know, Michael J. Hume, 27 years with the St. Philip Tigers. I've been with him through most of those seasons, and I know what this guy can do. He's basic. He comes out and he tells you, this is what we're going to run. His game is execution. Jack Brown's his defense. Together, they're a tremendous team together. And, of course, we want to mention the rest of these guys. Dick Stives been around for a long, long time, too. Brett Fornsma, not as long, but, of course, Brett was a great athlete for the St. Phil Tigers. Jimmy?
Well, the key to that, Jerry, as I just mentioned a minute ago, was the timeout and then the big rush put on by St. Phil trying to make something happen. They did, forcing that 5-yard punt. And then again, they did something else that we've mentioned here in the telecast, and that's Tony Brown and the effective passing game that he has shown so far tonight. And, of course, he had the statistics last year to prove it. He threw another rifle shot into the end zone for a touchdown. Now St. Phil down just 2 scores, and with some momentum, they are in this contest, Jerry, as we head to halftime.
As I commented earlier, the passes are what the St. Philip Tigers need.
Okay, let's see what Brown can do here. Now he's going for 2. He's going to drop back here. He rolls to the right. Oh, he stopped. It'll stay 20-6 here. We'll break away here for a minute. We'll be right back.
We all know people we can count on when we're in trouble. We depend on them. Even when there's no immediate crisis, in the back of our minds, we know these folks will come through when times are tough. They always have. Meet the people of the American Red Cross.
When disaster strikes, we're there, providing emergency food, clothing, and shelter.
We operate the premier blood service in the United States.
We make sure that the blood needed for emergencies is available on time, saving millions of lives.
We form the most extensive emergency network in the United States.
But we do much more than respond to immediate crises. We offer health and safety education to individuals, teaching them how to best prevent and cope with emergencies.
And we provide information about major health issues, such as the facts about AIDS.
We also provide the emergency communication link for military personnel and their families worldwide.
And together with the International Red Cross, we provide emergency assistance to people suffering from disasters overseas.
The American Red Cross is a name for some of our neighbors. More than 1.5 million volunteers around the country who can help us through an emergency when we need them.
Okay, welcome back to action here. Jerry Reese along with David By and Jimmy Hughes. 1:20 to go here in the second quarter. The Tigers have just scored their first touchdown. They do trail 20-6. Jimmy, we'll get to you with a recap here right after this kickoff as to what's happened. Maple Valley has control and on the ground. The Tigers, as of late, though, and the last couple of minutes have looked strong on defense. And as they kick off now, the ball goes down to about the 20. That is Merrill on the carry, gets to the outside. And once again, as I mentioned, Tigers are starting to look good. And Mr. Everything, Culp, was on the stop that time at about the 25-yard line.
Well, I can imagine that Maple Valley will probably come out and just try to run the ball and use up the rest of the clock going 20-6 at halftime. But you never know, Jerry. Maple Valley has really had their way with it in both the running and passing game. And let's see if they might want to try to get a quick score here to establish or reestablish that dominance that they've built up here in the first half.
Can you see the momentum, though, is switching a little bit as David By joins us here. Hofer is the quarterback. Single back formation, hands off to that single back. That's Merrill, and cutting right up the middle. He'll pick up a couple of yards here, and it's going to be second down and about 6. Let's call it from that point. This Merrill has done an awful nice job running here tonight.
Oh, he certainly has, Jerry. Merrill on that particular carry just got 6 more yards, and in fact at halftime now he is going to go in with over 100 yards rushing in the first half.
Oh, incredible night for Merrill. 33, 32, 31. Time running down, David.
Yep, 28 seconds in clock.
Okay, this time Franks the Speedster cutting to the outside and doing a nice job. Zink turns him inside. That's been the missing link here tonight as Zink does his job. Missing link, Zink does his job. Get it?
Q. Yeah, he ran to the outside on that common play that the Lions are doing, but stopped and went back in. But the St. Philip Tigers read that play from the beginning and made the tackle.
Well, as I see it, Jimmy, that's what they're doing. They're turning them inside now. That's been a big difference.
They are, Jerry, but you have to be impressed with Maple Valley's individual effort by their backs. I mean, there was 2 St. Philip guys there to catch him in the backfield, hold him either to a very nominal gain or a loss, and he cut it back up between the 2 defenders and got 7 yards for a first down. I mean, that is tremendous quickness and individual ability being displayed here by the 2 running backs, Franks and Merrill from Maple Valley tonight.
Jim, that's true, but I'll tell you one thing. They aren't going to, apparently not going to be able to do it all at one time, but that sure is a lot better than those 20, 25-yard gainers they're getting. And turning the inside, they're making some adjustments, and it's paying off here. As the Tigers have scored last, they have stopped the momentum somewhat, but that is a first down.
That's right. You know, Merrill, I said over 100 yards. Actually, he has 102 yards here in the first half rushing, and Franks, his counterpart there in the backfield for Maple Valley, now is up to 79 yards rushing, Jerry. You're talking about game statistics, and we have 17 seconds to go here in the second quarter.
Well, Jack Brown went out to talk to his defensive unit, and every time I see him come back, he's walking just a little bit slower. You know, so Jack's getting up there in age, and he's slowing down.
Maple Valley called that timeout, Jerry, with 17 seconds to go. And I'm not sure what's going on with the clock right now. Apparently, it ran down a little bit too much before the timeout, so they're going to have to reset it. Well, Maple Valley, apparently, with that timeout called, you would have to read into their intentions that they are now going to try to get some field position and get some points on the board. We've talked in the past, Jerry, about how Hail Mary plays at the end of the half are very effective, mainly because they're used to try to cause a penalty on the defense, because a penalty cannot end against the defensive team and in the half.
Okay, they take it up the middle. That's Franks on the carry. The kid can fly. Okay, excellent play that time, Jim. It's a first down here. and we're not really 13 seconds to go. They get down across midfield and about the 43-yard line. The clock will start moving right away. They put two scat ends out, two flankers out wide to the right, hand it off right up the middle. Now the Franks is going to try an option pass. He's being pressured, gets rid of it. It'll be very short, and with 3 seconds to go here, they'll have another play, but just tremendous play calling here tonight, I think, David.
Yeah, the incomplete pass stopped the clock, and they're going to look for the bomb probably to score a touchdown before half to intimidate the Tigers not only physically but mentally.
Dave, I think they're pulling out all stops here, though, don't you, for Maple Valley? I think Jimmy hit it on the head here a while ago. You know, they're going to try a bomb. Maybe it was you that hit on it. But they are not settling to run that clock now. They've tried a couple of fancy plays here. I think that draw play was an excellent play. That halfback option was not a bad play. Hofer now is going to drop back to pass. He rifles it down the middle. It's intercepted as the clock runs out. Interception by the St. Philip Tigers on the stop. That was Luke Dahm on the interception that ends the first half. 20-6, Maple Valley will break out of here. We'll be back a couple minutes before the start of the second half. Reese Hughes by Access Vision coming to you for your listening and viewing pleasure. Okay, we're back here. It's halftime, and it's 20-6, Mom's night. Jimmy, just go right to you for stats.
Okay, Jerry, it's been total domination by the Lions from Maple Valley so far. 20-6, though, and a little momentum showed by the Tigers to end the first half. But so far, Maple Valley's really had it their way, and the stats will bear that out. In total yardage figures so far in one half of play, Maple Valley has 244 yards on 38 plays. That's an average of 6.42 yards per play. They've done it with effective ground attack and an effective air attack. They have 30 yards passing tonight. Jason Hofer, the quarterback, is 3 for 5. All 3 passes, either first downs or touchdowns. And on the ground tonight, the Maple Valley Lions have 214 yards here at halftime. And they average per carry on the ground so far in this game 6.69 yards a carry. They are led tonight so far by Ron Merrill. He has 102 yards on 12 carries, Jerry. That's an 8.50 yard average. Dan Franks, his running mate back there in the backfield, has 97 yards of his own on 16 carries. That's a 6.06 yard per carry average. What domination. Like I say, Jason Hofler really gets some credit, too, for his deception. Nice faking in the backfield. That's really caused the St. Philip defense to miss a lot of players. On the St. Phil side of things, total yardage, they have just 90 yards. So it's 244 to 90 for St. Phil. And that's on 26 play, a 3.46 yards per play average. They have just 17 yards on the ground and are averaging just 1.21 yards per rush. They are being saved in this contest and still in the game because of the arm of Tony Brown. Tony Brown has 73 yards passing tonight. He has 5 completions tonight in 12 attempts for those 73 yards. And the one score by St. Philip was through the air. That was a 13-yard TD pass to Eric Culp there to end the second quarter and give St. Phil a little hope. The 3 touchdowns by Maple Valley tonight, 1 on the ground, 2 in the air. The 2 in the air came in the first quarter. That was from Jason Hofer, and then the first one was to Ron Merrill, a 6-yard TD pass. The second was Hofer to Scott Castile, the all-league receiver coming back for his senior year. That was a 14-yard TD pass. Then Ron Merrill chipped in out of his 102 yards. 2 of those crossed the goal line and was a touchdown run for him. 2 extra points so far in this contest kicked by Jason Hofer also. 20-6 at halftime, pretty much dominant by Maple Valley, but St. Phil with some hope as they came back in the second quarter and really showed some life. So we'll see what happens here in the second half.
Well, there's a lot of things, David, that are going to happen for the St. Philip Tigers, but they did pick up a little bit of momentum with that score.
They sure did. You know, they say the stats tell the story of the game, and right here it's bringing it to the truth with a 20-6 lead by the Lions on the St. Philip home field.
Well, you know, we are at CW Post Field. I think the field may be a little bit damp here tonight. It's kind of a chilly night, but I think it's a good football night. We're in the good football weather here right now. I think the Tigers had some momentum, but Maple Valley, after that score, even with the penalties, they came back and they were on the move once again. not afraid to throw it. They're going for some scores. They want to win this ball game.
They really want to put this game away as quick as they can from their vantage point. They have a 20-6 lead, and they were dominating. You know, anything can happen once a team goes into halftime and makes adjustments. St. Phil, over the years, has been a great team at halftime to make adjustments and come out and play well in the second half. We've seen them come from behind time after time, Jerry, over the years. So it's St. Phil here in the second half, still in the contest. They're just down 2 touchdowns, 2 scores, so it's anybody's contest at this point.
Well, you know, going off the subject a little, I just got to congratulate you, Jim, the proud father of a little baby girl.
And I'll tell you, it looks just like him, too, Jim. And I'd like to add my congratulations, too. You got to be pretty proud.
Yes, I am. Deanna Joy was born August 25th, Jerry, to my wife and I at 11 p.m. on a Saturday evening. And she's been nothing but a bundle of happiness for the last 2.5 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, and to bring, add more mention to that, it is Mom's Night here tonight, of course, for the St. Philip Tigers. And one of these days, you know, you're going to have a cheerleader maybe out from one of these schools, and you'll be very, very proud, I'm sure.
Probably a girls basketball player and some other sporting things, hopefully,
yeah.
In her life,
Definitely
too.
Going to be sports, right, Jim?
Well, we'll see.
Are you going to let her date before she's 30, or?
Certainly not.
That's already understood. You hear that, Eileen? No dating. And, of course, we hope your wife's feeling much better. She's been down just a little bit. But the Tigers are going to be kicking off here to start the second half. And, of course, Maple Valley, very large in numbers compared to the St. Philip Tigers. That could show up late in the ball game, as you know. Getting tired, fatigue, physical fatigue. And we're about ready to kick off here, St. Philip Tigers. And there's a whistle on the play as Pat Lucas gets into the ball. And I'm not really too sure what that was here, but it is 20-6, just underway here, third quarter. Tigers have kicked off, but the official blew the whistle. It is encroachment against Maple Valley, so they would have had to line up offside, Jim.
Well, I think the referees just changed their call. They pointed the wrong way, Jerry. It's pretty tough to line up offsides.
I don't know how you do that.
St. Phil was offsides on that, apparently, and they're going to have to move back 5 yards.
Well, the Tigers
offsetting penalties
will be kicking.
Strange call, Jerry. They just had offsetting penalties on the kickoff. Maybe we're in for a strange half here. I don't know.
Well, we'll wait and see. And the Tigers hope that the strangeness comes out in their favor as Pat Lucas, great athlete, tremendous basketball player, gets a tremendous foot. And it's going to go down to Terrell and rolling around the left side to Franks. Hands off. Got some running room. He may go. And pushed out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. And a nice saving tackle by Bill Chandler. Really a simple play, David. Kicked off, received back there by Ron Merrill. Merrill just simply hands off to Frank, scooting around the left side. His speed, momentum carried the rest of the way. And they've got a tremendous field possession right here to start this third quarter.
It was a beautiful play. No one from the St. Philip Tigers was even close to him until the 40-yard line. And on return, that's what they need.
48-yard line. Remember, Hofer's the quarterback. They come out I formation this time. That's a different look. Lefty fires it. Oh, it is. Oh! Almost a replay, you guys. Really, Scott Castile grabbed that ball in and out of his hands. He's had a couple of good plays here tonight. Nice touchdown early or in the first half. But, boy, I tell you, it was almost too easy for him.
Yeah, he was wide open. He just probably got a little nervous, you know.
Well, it's on about the 40-yard line where he missed that. That would have definitely been a first down and then some. But Maple Valley, they do have the ball. It's 2nd and 10. The ball rests at the 48-yard line. They come out double back formation. Look like a wing T. Right hand off this time to the left side. Nice running room. About a 9-yard pickup. They will be just a little bit short of the first down, but that was not Merrill on the carry that time.
Jeff Moore.
That was Jeff Moore on the carry. 6'3", 175-pound senior. So we're going to call it third. Let's call it 3rd and 2. So the Tigers have got to put something together here. They've got to stop them early here, or this could be a long night if they score here early. Okay, off to the left side, Franks has it. He's got the first down, and then some. Right near about the 32-yard line. It'll be first down from that vantage point, David.
Well, once again, bringing up one of Jim's earlier points, the fakes are just an astonishing job here tonight by Jason Holver. I mean, that's what's really getting them upfield.
Well, you know, he does do a nice job, and I think, Jim, you mentioned that. He's very impressive. He's very poised, and I think Tony Brown is too. But I think that Maple Valley has a lot more horses here tonight. Let's see what happens as this time Merrill goes to the right, cuts to the left side. He's going to go all the way. excellent run that time by Merrill as he went off the right guard slot, saw nothing there, and just his instincts took him to the left side, got to the outside about the 20, just sidestepped it all the way down the field, and just a burst of speed into the end zone. I guess that pretty much recaps it, Dave.
You did it fine.
Jimmy. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Didn't mean to step on you.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jim.
I just want to make the point, Jerry, you know, Maple Valley really crossed up St. Philip to start the second half. They had the reverse off the kickoff, and then they threw on first down, even though they have the lead, and they did not come out conservative, got St. Philip on their heels, and that was the key.
Hofer gets the extra point here, so that take it to 27-6, Maple Valley, and that is not, Maple Valley received the kickoff, and they made good on it, and that's not good.
Well, the thing is what Maple Valley tried to do there, Jerry, if I can read into the coach's mind from Maple Valley, is that he came out in that I formation. You called it on first down, and they threw out of that I formation. They've been running the straight T or split off that straight T all game. So here they come out and they throw in first down. All the adjustments that St. Phil, I'm sure, made at halftime were for the straight T, and because the running attack for the Lions was so effective. So here they come out, they throw, they do the reverse off the kickoff. St. Phil's shaking their head going, what are they going to do next? And then they come back with a running attack. St. Phil's all bewildered. They go right down, score a touchdown. Now they're up by 20 points again, 3 scores. Maple Valley, tremendous job of coaching at halftime to come out with those first few plays.
I'd have to agree, David.
Coach Gunther Middlestead, he's playing a very unorthodox game, but it seems to work against the St. Philip Tigers tonight.
Okay, a nice kick this time by Hofer. It's going to take off by Pearl at about the 10-yard line, up the right side, back to the middle, and running very hard. Will get the ball up to about the 35, 36-yard line. Tiger will take it first and 10 from there. They're going to have to put something together here. I think they do have some horses that are going to be able to move the ball, but are they going to be able to stop Maple Valley? Exchanging touchdowns back and forth is not going to do it here tonight.
Jerry, we never did mention that reverse kickoff return was for 42 yards by Dan Franks, and then the running attack with Merrill and Franks. Their total so far in the contest, we have Mr. Merrill with 134 yards. Now we have Mr. Franks with 105 yards. That's quite a tandem.
Let's see what Brown can do now. First offensive possession for the Tigers here in the third quarter. And, oh, boy, just tremendous pursuit that time all over Brown. And he wanted to pass, and just a wholesome Maple Valley. Let's give him a lot of credit. The cameras will pick that up for you. Jerry Reese, David By, and Jim Hughes, Access Vision. And we're in third quarter action here, 27-6. You know, we'll be able to view this a little bit different schedule, David, this time for our viewer listening audience. Sunday night at 5 o'clock as usual, but Wednesday night also, I understand, at 7 o'clock. So we want to remind them to stay tuned. They're watching some pretty good game here.
Yep, it'll give me something to do while I'm doing my homework that Wednesday.
Okay, and just a simple handoff by Brown this time off the right side. That was second down. That's going to be third down, and let's call it about 13. So another passing down here, David, and Tony Brown. I mean, it's an obvious passing down. There's going to be a big rush once again, I would imagine. How are they going to cross him up, you figure?
Well, maybe look for the post or a flag. You know, they need something out there.
Jimmy?
Screen pass.
Okay, I think that's a good play. Let's see what happens here. Or a draw. Nope, they're going to roll left side, and the pressure's there. Like we said, Brown's going to try to eat it. No, he lets it fly to Culp. Oh, there is a flag on the play. Culp was pushed by at least 3 guys, or Culp pushed 3 guys. We'll have to wait and see what the call is.
It's going to be interference or a defensive holding call. I'm not which they're going to call as far as the 2 penalties, but it's definitely against Maple Valley on that. Jerry, it's going to be an automatic first down.
Okay, so they bring the ball back here. The ball, it was a nice throw rolling to the left. Brown did get away from, they come at him heavy. You knew they were going to do that, but he rifles it all the way down to about the 40-yard line. Culp, being quite a bit shorter than the defenders, would have had to have been a perfect play to get it in his hands. But 3 Maple Valley defenders bumping Culp as he looked like a little pinball, really, bouncing off the cushions. But that is going to be a first down here, like you said, and a big penalty, another big break for the Tigers, and it does get them down in pretty decent field position. The ball rests now on about the 47-yard line. They come out this time. They have Wing T to the right. Brown drops back, and they hand off right up the middle, and Brown was pursued very strongly that time by Maple Valley. That was Duff Laverty in on him, and it was just a simple draw off the middle, Dave.
It was. The Maple Valley Lions are having a great defensive job tonight on their line. But it looks like the St. Philip Tigers penetrated pretty well on that play.
Well, they picked up 4 yards, you're right, and it's going to be 2nd and 6, so that is something. This time we have a double flanker out wide to the right. Tigers come out with a double back formation. Brown down over his center. Going to hand off to a second back through, and of course that is called. And oh, what an excellent run. This kid is very, very quick. Excellent defensive ball player as well. Tigers pick up another first down, about a 15-yard gain on that play. Tigers will take it 1st and 10. They have to, though. We were talking about consistency. They have to keep it moving, Dave.
Yep, in the previous half here, they've ran the ball down the field and passed it very well, but they get to a point and they just lose their spark.
Excellent play call by Mike Hume. 8:27 to go here. We are in the 3rd quarter action. Brown now moving his team. Pearl's turn up the middle. This time off the left side. Picking up 7, 8 yards. Pearl all the way down to about the 30-yard line. Be very near that. But the Tigers have something going for them now, Dave.
Yep, maybe Coach Mike Hume gave a little pep talk in the locker room during the half, and it looks like it worked.
Well, it's 27-6. Maple Valley's on top. If they are fortunate enough to score, then they're going to have Jack Brown's defensive Chargers come to the support of this offense. Brown now giving the defense a rest. Hands off this time to the left side, and once again, Pearl running like a demon. Very close to another first down, and I'll tell you, this kid is really pumped.
Jimmy Pearl was the leading rusher at halftime, although it was very few yards for St. Phil, but he's come out in the second half with rejuvenation in his legs, Jerry. And I'll tell you what, he's very effective right now, and in fact, he's up to 44 yards now in the ball game for himself. So Jimmy Pearl really doing a nice job out there tonight. And the quick openers, Jerry, are what's effective up the middle right now. They're not taking that step back and hand the ball off. Tony Brown's turning, and the gentleman in the backfield, whether it be Pearl or someone else from St. Philip, Mr. Culp maybe, either way, they're running.
First time we've seen that tonight. Hands off to Pearl off the left side. I think. Kid. Okay, it's 2nd and 2. 2nd and 2 for the St. Philip Tigers. The ball rests right now on about the 20-yard line. Let's see what they can do. Brown now has a man in motion. That's the first time we've seen that tonight. Hands off to Pearl off the left side. I think they got the first down. Let's wait and see here. The officials will be marking the ball here. There may be a measurement here, David.
It looks like it. It was a beautiful play by the Tigers.
Nope, they're going to call it. It is a first down. Okay, let's see where they mark this thing. The ball right now will rest at about the 15, let's call it the 15-yard line. 27-6, Maple Valley on top, but the St. Philip Tigers are on the move. 7.5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Quick opener once again, right side. This time they had Pearl's number. He may have picked up a yard. It'll be 2nd about 9, let's call it.
The St. Philip Tigers need to change their plays around a little because the Lions read that one pretty well.
Well, it was a 2-yard pickup, so it's going to be 2nd and about 8, 2 or 3-yard pickup. So nice little run by Pearl. But the clock is moving along. It's 27-6. Brown now comes out. He stayed this time. They are in the T formation. Going to hand off second back through and cutting to the outside, inside, and then to the outside. Running very, very hard for the St. Philip Tigers is Luke Daum. And these guys are running. They're running much harder now, and they seem to have a lot of momentum, and the adrenaline's flowing in all the backs.
Oh, it's flowing a lot better than it did in the first half. They're out there to win this game right now. Jim?
Well, go ahead, Jim.
A switch from the wing tee, too, Jerry. You know, St. Phil always runs that wing tee, but right now it's either the wishbone. From this angle, I can't tell if it's a very small wishbone or if it's a straight tee, but they're sitting a man in motion. They're doing some different things anyway. St. Philip really changing up on adjustments.
Okay, and here comes Brown now. We feel a couple of sprinkles here. Let's hope they don't start that action. And that's Pearl right up the middle, picks up a couple of more yards. So Tigers getting ever closer to pay dirt as the ball now rests on the 10-yard line. That's going to be 4th down, though, from that point. 4th and let's say about 2 or 3.
Jerry, did you bring the umbrella?
I did not bring an umbrella. I see the cheerleaders now for the Tigers are now putting their hoods on, and we had not counted on this. There was not supposed to be any rain here tonight.
There wasn't in the forecast, but...
Here it is, huh? Okay, yeah. Let's see Tigers now. They come out with this formation. We've seen it just one other time here tonight. Double flankers, left and right. Single back formation. Hand off to the back, and that's Pearl. Twist right, left, and as he spins, he picks up very close to the first down here. It is a first down. So with 5:48 to go here, Tigers trailing 27-6. Coach Mike Hume has his Chargers on the move. If they can get in the score, this will be a big, big turnaround for the St. Philip Tigers.
Oh, a touchdown is what they need. Their momentum's going strong now, but a touchdown, I think, would spark a rocket.
Okay, let's see what the Tigers can do now. They come out double flanker, double back formation. Brown, they want to get in here. Now, some stunning now by the Maple Valley defenders. This time to Pearl. Pearl cuts left and right. Gets right up the middle here, and he's going to be very, very close here now. Gets down to within about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Clock moving, 5:15 to go, 27-6, as people are starting to scramble here for some umbrellas. And I wish we did have one.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to come down. It's pretty steady, though.
Now we look and see that look again. Double flanker left and right. Will he give it to Pearl, or will Brown keep it himself? No, off to Pearl. Pearl cuts left. He spins. He's in. He's in. The St. Philip Tigers, the red and white, are in once again. Much to the happiness here behind us of the St. Philip Tigers. It takes it now 27-12. For Maple Valley is, of course, on top here. And, of course, Tigers, I don't know, will they go for 2? They have anything to lose at this point.
No, 4:55 in the third quarter. There's lots of time to make up for it.
Well, let's mention the camera crew here. Sherry Wellwood, Brian Seymour, Amy Briggs, Bobby Hale, and Amy Ott. And, of course, Steve Mobley is our director here and doing a fine job here for Access Vision. They're going for 2. They hand off to Pearl, right side. He's going to be close. And Maple Valley defenders seem to think they have held, and they did.
Extra point conversion has failed.
Well, 27-12. I think the Tigers look pretty good on that drive, Dave.
They do. You know, Mike Hume commented that he doesn't like the word build, but reload. And I think he reloaded it during the halftime there.
Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. He did, too. And, of course, Hume's been around, like we said, for 27 in his 27th season. Has to be pretty happy with his young Tigers. And, you know, the Tigers keep going like that, Jimmy Hughes. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with possibly later in the season.
Well, that's right, Jerry. You know, the one thing, though, not in their favor is that drive was basically all up the middle of the field on the ground, took off some tremendous time, and, of course, 2 scores down with 4 minutes, 55 seconds to go. St. Phil has to stop Maple Valley. I think that's the key. They have not proved that they can stop the offensive scheme of Maple Valley at this point. But they have to do that to get back in this contest, and they have that opportunity now.
Okay, let's see what Lucas can do. He gets that big, beautiful left foot off. It's going to go down to Merrill. He takes it, got some blockers, going to take it right up the middle, picking his way as he goes. Gets all the way up to about the 35-yard line, or about the 40-yard line. And as the teams go out and exchange their assignments here, Maple Valley on top 27-12. And we're in third quarter action, 4:48 to go here. And it's starting to rain, guys.
Oh, yes. Earlier you mentioned the point about a wet field. It's going to get even wetter.
We have to go. We'll be right back here, Access Vision.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Due to rain during the third period of the Maple Valley St. Philip High School football game, we were unable to complete the broadcast for you. We apologize for this inconvenience. We invite you to join us next week for high school sports. The final score of the game was Maple Valley 34, St. Philip 12. Once again, for Access Vision High School sports, thank you. Have a good night.
Big headliners we've talked about since way back when Rock and Rio was first organised. You might also see D-Light. Debbie Gibson was there, Snap were there, Happy Monday, Ziggy
Good afternoon, and this is Jim Hughes for Access Vision. We're at C.O. Brown Stadium here, and it's a beautiful evening for baseball, and we're going to have it for you tonight on Access Vision. It's the Penfield Panthers against the St. Philip Tigers. St. Phil comes in 1-5, and Penfield comes in 3-4. We ought to have a real big contest. Joining me in the booth, as always, for this baseball and softball season, Dave Eubanks. Give us your outlook on tonight's contest.
Well, Jim, I'm expecting a big hitting contest. We talked about this beforehand. Both teams are under 500. Their pitchers have rather high ERAs. Ben Finney, doing the pitching chores for the Penfield Panthers, comes in with a record of 0-1 and an ERA of 6.52. Doing the pitching duties for the St. Phil Tigers this afternoon is Pete Lombardo, comes in with a record of 0-2, 8.43. Let's do a quick run here of the starting lineups for the Panthers. Leading off, the catcher, number 9, junior Brian Clark. Hitting in the 2 slot, the left fielder, number 7, also a junior, Brent Lance. And batting third here in the first inning is the second baseman, number 3, senior Jason Hogan.
Okay, let's set the outfield real quick for St. Phil. We've got a sophomore triumvirate out in the outfield tonight. Left field, Troy Ramos. Center field, Brooke Monica. Right field, Chris Brewster. All sophomores. Very young team, only 2 seniors on the St. Philip Tigers. On the infield, third base, sophomore Tim Channels. Shortstop, Jason O'Byrick, and he's a junior. Junior Charles Lonergan's at second. And at first base, we've got Pat Lucas, also a junior, a returning all-city player, excellent ball player. Behind the plate, we've got Mark McGrath. He's also a sophomore. Very young team, as we say. Pete Lombardo, as you said, Dave, starting on the mound for the St. Philip Tigers. Now he's 0-2, ERA 8.43, so we won't talk much about it. He's been hit a little bit, but he's gaining experience, and it's got to help him tonight against the Panthers. They're looking for a big contest, is St. Phil, and Penfield, obviously a big rival. And here we go with the first pitch. Smack the third. And here's the throw. Nice one-hopper in the dirt, but picked out of there, of course, by Pat Lucas. That was Tim Channels, a young sophomore. One pitch, and we got one away.
That was a nice play going to his glove side there by third baseman Tim Channels as he threw out Brian Clark, by a couple steps at first base. Brings up the left fielder, Brent Lance, number 5.
At first batter, of course, was Brian Clark. First pitch hitting. He come into the game with a .250 average. Going to go down after that at bat, but I'm sure he's looking to pick that up later. Now Brent Lance, as you say, Dave, in to the box. Takes a pitch for a strike, strike one. He's coming into this contest with a .350 average.
Brent doing the duties, as I said, in the outfield. He's only a junior. A lot of juniors on this Penfield squad, too. Coach Dave Hudson's high on his Panthers. Said he'd like to put up another couple W's here tonight.
There's a ball high. 1-1 the count. Beautiful stadium out here, folks. If you haven't been out to C.O. Brown Stadium in Bailey Park, you are really missing a sight.
It's beautiful, Jim. It's I come in the other night to try and get a sight of what it was going to be, and it's kind of like walking into a minor league ballpark.
Another ball floats just high. Lombardo behind in the count now, 2-1.
I'd say a minor league ballpark, high-quality minor league ballpark. A lot of minor league clubs don't have this many stands, and it's a lot of seating here for C.O. Brown.
There's a smack to right field, and drifting in underneath it is Chris Brewster. Puts it away, squeezes it for the second out of the inning. We've got 2 down in the top of the first inning here. It's St. Philip Tigers against the Penfield Panthers. SMAA action. And in league action, we've got St. Philip coming into the game with a record that they just soon forget. It's 0-2, and Penfield comes in at 2-2 in the league. Next, 2 down, top of first. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's all right, Jim. Next batter for the Tigers is senior second baseman Jason Hogan. Jason doubles as one of the top pitchers on the Panther staff.
Ball one he takes, and Jason Hogan having a nice year for himself already. As we get going in the contest here, we're going to run down some of the games that these teams have played. Of course, we said Penfield 3-4. They came in 2-2 in the league. There's a little dinker down the third baseline. It's going to roll foul and picked up on the third baseline foul by the third baseman Tim Channels. So we're going to have a 1-1 count now, even. Penfield on the year so far. First opponent, Bellevue. They won 11-0, and they won the second game of a doubleheader that night, 6-3. So they started out 2-0, and then they faced a tough Parchment team, lost 7-0 and 7-6, beat Olivet 11-10, lost to Bronson 19-14 and 15-5, and that's bringing you up to date at this point. There's a ball, gets by the catcher, but to no avail as no runners are on base. Another ball. We've got a 2-1 count now.
Jason Hogan comes into this contest, Jim, leading the Panthers in hitting, hitting a .476 average. He's got an on-base percentage of .577. He's 10 for 21, and he's got also a team-leading 9 RBIs.
That's where you want your number 3 hitter, right there in the lineup. And there's a pop-up on the infield. Should be out number 3. Drifting underneath it is that young sophomore, Tim Channels, and he drifts a little bit back, reaches back, and makes the grab. 1, 2, 3. You're in the top of 1. At the end of 1/2 inning of play, it's 0-0 with St. Philip coming to bat.
As you said, Jim, there's a young St. Phil Tiger team out there. We don't have a senior in the starting lineup. A lot of sophomores and several juniors, but we saw some nice plays there. They tested young Tim Channels down there at third base a couple times. He almost overran, or underran rather, the pop-up off the bat of Hogan, but reached back and made a nice grab. Let's set the Panthers defensively, Jim, if you've got that.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll start with the outfield. We've got Brent Lance in left, Rob Morris in center, and Ron Worthington holding down right field. Around the infield, starting at third, we have Jim Kosmerick at third base. At shortstop, Kurt Walters. At second base, Jason Hogan. We just saw him bat. And at first base, Jason Selvage. On the mound tonight, Ben Finney comes in 0-1 with an ERA of 6.52. Enough said. And he's looking to better that tonight. Brian Clark behind the plate. We do have a DH tonight, obviously not playing in the field, but Scott Clothier will be coming up to the plate later in the contest. So on the offensive end, we'll hear his name a little bit. Why don't you set the St. Philip Tigers batting order here, Dave?
Okay, leading off for the Tigers, right fielder number 1, Chris Brewster. He comes in with a batting average of .333. Batting in the 2 slot is the left fielder, number 9, Troy Ramos, hitting third. The last outfielder, Brooke Monica, number 31. He plays in center. Batting in the cleanup spot, first baseman Pat Lucas, followed by Charles Longerman at second, Pete Lombardo the pitcher, Mark McGrath the catcher, Jason O'Byrick at short, and rounding out the Tigers lineup is a third baseman, a young man whose name we've already said a couple times tonight, number 33, Tim Channels.
Well, Chris Brewster's going to step into the box here, and he's going to step in on the left side. Gives him an extra half step there going down to first, and I'll tell you, this is a team with speed. One stat that I picked up between the two teams that seemed somewhat eye-catching was the fact that the St. Philip Tigers so far in this young season in 6 contests average 8.2 stolen bases per game. That is successful stolen bases, so they have some speed.
Well, that's one thing that youth will do for you too. Of course, we're a little bit older and we don't worry about speed anymore, but the young players have got the young legs, and they get on base. They got small strike zones, a lot of short players I notice on the St. Phil lineup.
Grounder just past the pitcher's mound. Here's that speed coming into action. Over to short. The throw into the dirt, and safe this time will be Chris Brewster. Tough play that time by Kurt Walters. He threw a low to Jason Selvage, who couldn't dig it out of there, but it was a very tough one. You know, that ball's a slow roller going back over the mound, and I would think because of the wet ground that just slows it down even more.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Jim. That ball off the end of the bat barely got by Ben Finney, and with Brewster's speed, he was pretty sure to beat that out, but I'm going to score it an E6, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, the coach's son, Troy Ramos.
And, of course, the reason we scored is because we haven't seen an official ruling on that particular play out on the scoreboard.
I don't think there's an official scorer here other than you and I, Jim.
Well, we'll be official. Troy Ramos, as you say, stepping into the box. .455 average on this young season, and Troy can really smack it with some power, too, as he's got a slugging percentage of .636 so far with 4 doubles in his 10 hits this year. Here's a stolen base attempt. We talked about it, and it's going to be successful that time. The ball gets away from the catcher, Brian Clark.
It wasn't exactly successful, Jim. They called it a foul ball. Troy Ramos did get a piece of it.
Okay.
Off the chest protector of home plate umpire Doug Salzgeber, and foul ball, strike one, back to first base with Chris Brewster.
I'm already missing plays.
Like I say, you can't blame it on the post tonight, James.
I guess I can.
Well, you could. There's a post out there in right field.
Yeah, that's true. That'll teach me to look at my lineup and the game at the same time, I guess. Either way, folks, Chris Brewster did not steal second and then steal first. He had to go back. Got an 0-1 count now in the batter, and that's Troy Ramos from St. Philip. There's a little pop-up into right field. This could drop in. Could be trouble. It does. And heading to third on the run, Chris Brewster throw into the infield, and we've got runners at first and third with nobody out in the bottom of the first inning of play. 0-0 to score, but a nice little dink Texas lead single into right field, and there was absolutely nothing that the right fielder Ron Worthington could do. Jason Hogan had no chance either. Just a nice placement of the ball.
Well, Hogan had broke to cover second base on the steal attempt, and Jason Selvage had just come off the bag and couldn't get back. All 6'4" of him wasn't able to get there, and Worthington had a long run. That's going to bring up Brock Monica, the center fielder. Monica comes into the game hitting, believe it or not, .714.
First pitch outside for a ball. Let me tell you another statistic that's even more eye-catching and more unbelievable than the 714 average. His slugging percentage is 1.286, over 1,000, and that is tremendous. This man is a power hitter, definitely. There's the swing, and I set him up too much. A little jinx job, and it's over to first from the pitcher. That one goes Ben Finney to Jason Selvage. Nice play, though, looking the runner back to third. Taking second that time, though, was Troy Ramos. We've got runners at second and third. One down, bottom of one. St. Philip taking their home field at bats here, and coming to the plate is an all-city performer from last year, Pat Lucas.
Pat Lucas, a young man who plays several different sports here at St. Philip. He's the quarterback from the football team. He's, I guess you could call him a point forward, handles the ball quite a bit for the Tigers basketball team, led the team this year in several categories along with William Chandler, and comes in here hitting .375. That's nothing to sneeze at on its own. First baseman Pat Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas is a great athlete. He's played a number of sports. We've seen him all over the place, and no different. Here's a fly ball down the left field line. Going to be out of play, though. He was way behind on that particular fastball, and it's going to be one strike on the count. Second and third are the runners for St. Phil. One out. There is a base open. Let's see how they pitch the cleanup man. Early, though, so I imagine they're going to come right after him.
I figure they'll come at him. Lucas didn't swing at a strike there on the first offering from Finney. And the second offering catches the outside corner, so
Yes,
he's automatically in a hole 0-2. He's got to guard the plate now.
Well, now we'll see how Ben Finney wants to handle him. 0-2 the count, as you say. Disciplined to win. That's the motto of this St. Philip Tiger team. They are 1-5, but they're very young and getting better. Outside, nice waist pitch. 1-2 the count now.
Nice stop by the catcher, Brian Clark, as he dove outside to catch that fastball from Finney. Couple ducks on in scoring position for Pat Lucas. Let's see if he can bring home a couple runs here early in this contest for the Tigers.
But they don't run like they have flippers, let me tell you. They've got some speed on the base pass.
Yeah, they don't have the web feet.
Absolutely
they got
not.
Wings on their feet.
There's a smack down the left field line. And this one looks, as my view is screened here, as if it's going to go foul. And as you can see on X's vision, hopefully, and heard, it smacked into the seat. So foul ball. 1-2 count still on Pat Lucas here in the bottom of the first inning.
Pat has a few RBIs to his credit this season. What do you got there on the stat, Jim, for RBIs?
Runs batted in. He has 4. Not as much of a power hitter as you'd expect at the number 4 spot, at least so far in this young season, but it is young, only 6 games into the campaign. There's one. Hit to second base. Nice play that time by Jason Hogan over to Selvage. He's got the out, but a run does score, and there's another ribby in the book. Boy, that's where you want to put it. Pull it to right field, put it on the ground, and you score a run. Nice play and nice bit of hitting there with 2 strikes on him was Pat Lucas. And a nice play by Hogan as he had to go down for that ball there at second. Over to Selvage. Nice play all the way around, but St. Philip. Now the Tigers do take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, 1-0 lead. That ball was almost into right field. Jason Hogan got his glove down. That's going to bring to the plate second baseman Charles Longerman. Longerman comes into the contest hitting .267. Runner at third base, that being Troy Ramos.
And 2 down and a square to bunt here. Surprising play as it was called a strike.
I think he missed the sign, Jim. As that happened, Coach Ramos down there at third is going, you heard him in the background. That wasn't the sign that he was supposed to get. See if Longerman swings away on this play. 0-1, the count.
.267 average. Man on third, 2 down. In the dirt that time. Nice stop. Brian Clark back to the backstop, and we've got a run here. Troy Ramos with some speed down there at third. In fact, father and son down at third there. Willie Ramos, 5th-year coach for St. Phil, and his son, power hitting and a young man down at third. Here's the pitch. Beat into the ground, foul, just off the back of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
As you say, father and son team down there at third base. No coach over at first base for the Tigers. And they're on their own. Once they get that far, they can see the ball ahead of them. If they got a shot at second with this speed, I got a feeling everybody's going to be running.
And everybody is Troy. So here we go with the pitch. High, ball 2. 2-2 count now. Ben Finney, I think, has done a nice job here. He had first and third with no one out. So far, 2 down, man on third with only 1 run scored. So Ben Finney trying to work out of a jam. And, of course, staring across at him from the plate is Charles Lonergan. Low, nice stop that time by Brian Clark once more. Doing a nice job behind the plate. Kind of wet out here, Dave, and they put some new sand down around home plate, so when that ball hits, you kind of lose it in the dust.
Yeah, with the rain that we've had here in the last couple days, the infield is really dark, and as you notice, the dirt around home plate is lighter, and once it hits that, it's just kind of dying. It's sandy up by home plate. I walked out there before the game and noticed that.
Another ball, and we're going to have a gentleman take his base. I thought that was a full count. Obviously, I must have missed a pitch.
Yeah,
so did the Mr. Score person up top.
Yeah, it was ball 4 high to Charles Lungerman. He takes first and third now. Brings up the pitcher, Pete Lombardo. Pete comes in hitting an even 200. Let's see if he can help himself, as they say in this game. Help himself and knock in a run. Almost expect to see Lungerman going on the first pitch.
I would not be shocked. We've got 1 stolen base, if I'm not mistaken, already in the books for St. Philip. Averaging 8 a game, that's an amazing statistic in my mind.
Well, Jim, again, you're wrong. We don't have a steal. Remember, he had to come back. That's all right.
Tip. I've still got that in my mind, don't I? Boy, it's 2 stolen bases. Stole second, stole first. Yeah, I remember.
First pitch of Lombardo, rather, was a strike on the outside corner, and Longerman didn't move. He's getting a nice lead down there, but Jason Hogan pulled over near second base. See what happens here on pitch number 2.
Ben Finney throws to third base, but no go on Troy Ramos, and a very easy throw over there. Really not trying to get him. Let me run down the St. Philip foes for the year so far. They opened with a doubleheader against Lakeview and lost both games, 12-11, 7-5. Olivet, they lost 10-6. There's a smack into center field. That's going to fall in, and it might get the gap. Does it get by the outfielders? No, it dies in the wet grass, but coming around from first all the way around third and coming home to score the 3rd run for the Tigers is number 19. Boy, what a great job of running the bases. Charles Lonergan all the way from first scores on a long single. With 2 outs, you can get a nice jump that way, and boy, Lonergan did.
Yeah, Lonergan got a nice jump off first, and as I had said there just beforehand, let's see if Lombardo can help himself, and he definitely helps himself with that shot in the gap in right center. It did die in the grass. Rob Morris got over and cut it off, though, but with his speed of Longerman, he scored easily from first base without a throw. That's going to bring to the plate the catcher, number 12, Mark McGrath. Again, a sophomore. McGrath hitting a .313 average coming into tonight's contest.
Boy, that ball did die, but it did hit the gap. On a good day, that would have rolled between the outfielders and got by them, and it would have been a definite double. But a smart play, I think, holding up at first that time. And on a strike 1 count now on the batter, number 12, Mark McGrath.
Now, like I said, the ball's in front of these runners, and once they hit first base, they're on their own, and unless you've got Rock Raines or Ricky Henderson speed, you don't move from first base with the ball as close as it was.
Strike at the knees that time, and I'll tell you, another person in the hole here for St. Phil. McGrath, 0-2 count, .313 average, just a young sophomore. As we said, a lot of sophomores on this team. Whole outfield sophomores, in fact, for St. Phil, but obviously up 3-0, they've got some confidence tonight.
5 sophomores in the starting lineup and 4 juniors for the Tigers.
And going around on it, holding on, Brian Clark, and strike 3 to end the inning, but big damage done by the St. Philip Tigers. And at the score at the end of 1 inning of play is St. Phil 3, Penfield nothing.
The Tigers pushed across 3 runs there in the bottom of the first inning, aided by an error and a walk. They had 3 runs on just 2 singles. Kate to finish off the inning there by Mark McGrath, making the out number 3. And for the Panthers in inning number 2, they're going to be led off by their junior designated hitter, Scott Clothier, followed by the shortstop, senior Kurt Walters, Rick Morris, that's Rob Morris, rather, the center fielder, followed by Jason Selvage at first, the pitcher Ben Finney, and the third baseman Jim Kosmerick. Both teams starting a lot of underclassmen. The Panthers starting with 4 juniors. They don't have a sophomore on the squad. They've got 3 juniors sitting on the bench here this afternoon. Scott Clothier coming into this game has a real good average. I know he's
412.
412. He's an excellent athlete. He was the nose guard and played in the defensive line on their football team. He was all-conference both ways in the SMAA. He was also an all-conference wrestler at Penfield. And on his way to a second year of all-conference here in baseball. And if you're hitting .417 coming into this game, keep it up. You know he can hit the ball if he's DHing for somebody. So we're going to see some runs put on the board here this afternoon. But right now, the Panthers trail the Crosstown Tigers by a count of 3-0.
Well, so far in this young season for both teams, and it's probably not getting as young as I speak, I don't know. Penfield averages 7.6 runs a game. They give up 8.7, so a lot of runs scored, but a lot by the other team too. Hits, 7.7. Penfield averages a game. Opponents, same thing, 7.7. Errors, just 2.7 a game, Penfield averages. Their opponents average just 2.1. They've got 5 players returning this year. Last year they were 13-7 and 3rd in the SMAA. Let's go through St. Philip statistics before we are remiss. St. Philip averages 7.3 runs per contest. Opponents 7.8. Hits, even, 8 apiece averaged by St. Philip and their opponents. And St. Phil tonight, something we might want to watch. They average 3.5 errors a game, which is a little high. Their opponents 2.7 errors per game, which is exactly what Penfield averages. So it's one of those games where I believe we're going to have a lot of runs scored, and the first inning did not disappoint anybody by St. Philip getting 3 on the board quickly.
Well, I'm sure it disappointed somebody, and that's the man standing down in the third base coaching box, and that's Coach Dave Hudson from Penfield.
That's true. That is true.
Leading off again is the designated hitter, Scott Clother, hitting in the cleanup slot this afternoon for the Panthers.
1 strike, nice swing, but missed it. And right now, Pete Lombardo doing a nice job. Of course, we've only got 1 inning down in the books, but looking good out there at the mound.
Yeah, Lombardo kind of slings the ball at the plate. He doesn't exactly throw it. He throws about 3/4.
There's a smack way foul, way out in front of it that time was Clothier.
Makes the count 0-2 as he hits that one not only out of play, but that one's out of the parking lot, probably out rolling around someplace over by Convis Complex, where the Lady Panthers and Lady Tigers are doing battle this afternoon as well.
Want to thank the coaches Willie Ramos from St. Phil and Dave Hudson from Penfield for providing us with some player profiles, some information so we can pass it along to you folks at home. And in the dirt that time, nice waste pitch that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count now.
Lombardo hasn't really thrown a fastball to Clothier, started him off with 3 curveballs in a row. He got way out ahead of the curveball there on the last pitch and hit it well foul. Counts 1 ball and 2 strikes on Clothier. On deck is a shortstop, number 8, Kurt Walters.
But of course, leading it off is Clothier. Wants to get on base quickly, but does not as he takes the called 3rd strike. Nice job by Lombardo on the outside corner, comes right into him, and we got 1 down here to start the 2nd inning for Penfield.
Clothier disagreed with that call by home plate umpire Doug Saltzgaber. It was a questionable call, I would say. It was on the outside corner if it was across the plate, but it was close enough for Mr. Saltzgaber to say, "Go have a seat, Mr. Clothier." And as I said before, Kurt Walters now at the plate.
And there's a smack into the hole, and that's going to go to left field for a single. Rounding first, but going nowhere as St. Phil gets the ball up quickly out of left and into the infield. We finally got a run around here for Penfield in the 2nd inning. We've got 1 down with a man on first, and of course that's Kurt Walters. He came in batting .368. I'm not sure if we mentioned that, but that obviously will raise after that at bat.
That was my next stat I was going to read, Jim, was his batting average. He swung at the first pitch and didn't have time to fill anybody in. And that brings to the plate Rob Morris, also a tri-sport athlete, fouls off the first pitch.
Beat it into the ground and behind the catcher that time.
Rob Morris was an all-conference golfer out here at Penfield and also was a star of their basketball team, all-conference performer, nice little outside jump shooter. Kind of run the team out there for Penfield as he played, I believe it was off guard, but he did most of everything for Coach Chuck Mickness and the Panthers.
And I believe team MVP, all city honors also. Nice athlete. 1 strike to count right now. There's a swing, and the ball goes to second base, and over to first. Into second safely goes the runner, but out at first that time was Robbie Morris. Nice play that time by Charles Lonergan. He waited on the ball, didn't take any chances throwing to second, threw a nice soft little spear over to Pat Lucas for the 2nd out of the inning. Moving to second base, though, that time was, of course, the runner for Penfield, Clothier.
That's Kurt Walters.
Excuse me, Kurt Walters. Boy, I'm getting it mixed up already.
That's right.
And Ron Worthington, where is he coming in?
Ron Worthington is being DH'd for, Jim. He is the right fielder, and Clothier is hitting for him.
Okay.
At the plate right now, number 21, senior Jason Selvage, swings and misses at the first deuce offering from Mr. Lombardo.
And I hazard a guess that you will call him Guy before the end of the day?
Well, I was going to just say no relation to Guy. I won't call him Guy. I'm sure he can't play the
There is
accordion.
a hit to shortstop. Up with the ball quickly. O'Byrick, nice roll. A little high, though. Lucas with it at first. And throwing to third, trying to get the runner, and out of there. Beautiful play. That goes Lucas to channels, and picking the runner off and straying too far was Kurt Walters. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. That's a huge play in this contest. That ends the top of the 2nd inning at the score at the end of 1.5 innings of play is St. Philip 3, Penfield nothing.
That was a real heads-up play by first baseman Pat Lucas as he got the ball and headed right straight across the diamond. I think Kurt Walters hurt himself diving back into third base as Coach Dave Hudson helps him off the field. And I've got a feeling we're going to see a replacement for Kurt. I don't know if he got spiked or what happened, but they're holding his right arm up in the air. He rounded the bag too far and got caught. He thought the ball was going to go out of play. And nice throw back across. Tim Channels put the tag on. And that's going to be out number 3. We score the play on salvage as an error short. E6, so the Panthers in the second inning go no runs on 1 hit. They leave a runner on base. After 1.5, we have a score of St. Philip 3 and the Penfield Panthers 0. The substitute is Brent Lance moves from left field into third base, and the new left fielder, I believe, is Scott Dukeman, number 2. Is that correct, Jim?
Number 2, that's exactly correct, I do believe.
Yes, that's correct. Scott Dukeman takes over in left field for the injured, and we'll try and find out what happened. I say the injured Kurt Walters. Actually, what happened is Jimmy Kosmarek moves over from third to short. Lance moves from left to third, and Dukeman moves into left field, and he'll bat in the 5 slot, which was occupied by Kurt Walters. In the second inning for the Panthers, rather in the third inning for the Panthers, leading off is going to be the pitcher, Ben Finney, followed by, well, I'm doing all this, and we've got the other team at the plate. I'm all right. The Tigers, yeah, we're all right. It's early, right, Jim? We can make all the errors we need to. Leading off for the Tigers in inning number 2 was the shortstop, Jason O'Byrick, followed by third baseman Tim Channels, and back to the top of the order with the right fielder, Chris Brewster.
We got to remember that when the guys are doing these games on TV, many times have statisticians right there with them. It makes it a little easier, I would imagine. Don't you think?
I would hope so.
And, of course, we just had 3 people change spots, so. Either way, bear with us. We'll get this straight. 3-0 the score. We've got the bottom of the second on tap here, and as Davis so astutely said, Jason O'Byrick at the plate. He did have an error on that last play, as he swings and smacks one, but just fouled on the third base line, trying to make up for it. That last play was scored 6-3-5 for that third out. That was an error on a bad throw to first, if I'm not mistaken. Is that how you scored
it was an error, but he doesn't get an assist on the play.
Oh, he does not?
No,
okay.
He does not get an assist on the play because it was not a direct result. The only assist on the play goes to the first baseman, that being Pat Lucas.
So how do they treat that then? Like 2 separate plays happening in one
play? Yeah, the first play is the error, allowing the runner to be safe at first, and then the play from the first baseman, if it would have been a relay, then he would get an assist on the play.
It's great to have an expert like Dave Eubanks in the booth here. Here's the second pitch. That's a ball inside. O'Byrick's count is 1-1 here. Count went up on the board. There's no 2 count, but that was inside and a ball.
It was high and tight, Jim. O'Byrick comes in. I don't know if you mentioned this, hitting 300, and there's a foul ball back our way into the screen. Makes the count 1-2. Hitting an even 300 on the season. Again, only a junior. We're going to keep saying that because there aren't too many seniors on this St. Phil squad.
Absolutely the case. Only 2 seniors, as you said, and I'll tell you, young is the word. Only 12 people on the roster for St. Phil, too, so pitching could be a problem later. And there's a smack to left field. Let's see how far this ball goes, but carrying all the way out to the left fielder, Scott Dukeman, just into the contest, makes a nice grab. That's one of those where you hit it on a line, but right at somebody, and kind of unfortunate for the St. Philip Tigers, but nonetheless, Penfield has 1 out in the books here against the Tigers. Coming to the plate is Tim Channels. He's the number 9 man in the order at 167.
Channels, only a sophomore. We had his name mentioned several times in inning number 1. He's a transfer to St. Phil from the Bellevue area. See how he does here against Ben Finney.
Finney comes right in. There's a grounder to second. 2 hopper. And over to first. Hogan throws it on over to salvage. 2 down now in the bottom of 2. Penfield settled down here in the second inning, it seems, even though they have experienced an unfortunate play with Kurt Walters getting hurt on that play at third.
Well, I see him over in the dugout, and maybe he just got spiked in the hand or something because he's sitting over there holding his right hand. Bringing to the plate for the Tigers right now, though, is Chris Brewster. He was safe on an error by the shortstop in the first inning and came all the way around to score.
Brian Clark behind the plate is looking at a team that averages over 8 stolen bases a game, has not had an opportunity yet to throw anybody out. The young man at the plate who takes the first strike is very speedy, Chris Brewster. 333 average coming in, and very quick on the base paths, and of course a lefty stick out of the box quick, I'm sure.
Well, that's got to be one reason he's batting leadoff, Jim. He's quick. He's small. He's going to get on base. He presents a real small strike zone, and a la Ricky Henderson, he crouches at the plate to make it even harder to hit.
And in this day and age, the strike zone seems to have shrunk a lot. 1-1 the count in the dirt. Brian Clark attempts at the stop, but to no avail, and it doesn't matter. Nobody on. 2 down, no one on. Bottom of 2, St. Phil at the plate. They are the home team tonight here at C.O. Brown Stadium. It's a beautiful evening for baseball. And I guess late afternoon is what we'd really call it.
Whatever it is, it's beautiful, Jim. I wish we would have had this weather last night. Got a lot of rain, rained off a lot of games and practices as Chris Brewster swings and misses to even a count at 2-2.
High fastball that time, and Chris Brewster went fishing, but forgot to put the hook on the line. 2-2 the count, 2 down. We got 2s across the board, and Chris Brewster looking to start things off here on 2, as you'd say, for the Tigers. Ben Finney comes in high, 3-2, full count now. 3-0 lead by the St. Philip Tigers here. They are 1-5 on this young season. St. Phil looking for a big victory against crosstown rival. 3-4 is the Penfield Panthers record. Ooh, a very, very close pitch. And boy, if there was a question, it was on that pitch. And taking off to first, Chris Brewster had to turn around and double take to make sure he did get the walk. That could have went either way, Base on balls. Chris Brewster's on first. And I would think a definite steal opportunity is in the offing.
I would agree with you, Jim. That was another one of those too close to take pitches, and this one went again in the Tigers' favor as the young man behind the plate, Doug Salzgaber, said ball 4, run on down to first base. Troy Ramos at the plate.
Little pop up to center, drifting in quickly and quietly is the center fielder for Penfield, putting the out in the books.
That's Rob Morris in center, Jim, as he tackles that ball. We have nothing across for the Tigers in the second inning. They did get a walk, but that didn't prove to be of any negative for the Panthers as they strand Chris Brewster at first base. Now we can get to the batting order for the Panthers in inning number 2. I tried this once before, and Jim kind of waved me off. Leading off the third.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, it's all right. It was an error.
I got 2 stolen bases in the book.
That's right. You got 2 stolen bases, and we don't have any, and I'm trying to bat Finney in the wrong inning. So leading off the third, the pitcher, junior Ben Finney. He'll be followed by the third baseman, another junior, Jimmy Kosmerick. And back to the top of the order with, again, another junior, the catcher, Brian Clark.
Scott Weitzel, the director tonight. Marty Kelly is assisting, and boy, it's taken me a heck of a lot of practice here to make sure I got his name right, I'll tell you, Dave.
Well, that's the first time I've heard it, or I'd help you.
This is Jim Hughes, I got that one right, along with Dave Eubanks here tonight at C.O. Brown Stadium. We are about ready to start the top of the third inning. St. Philip Tigers, Penfield Panthers facing off in SMAA high school varsity baseball action. And I love it out here when it's this warm. It's beautiful. We're in the shade. It's a little cool, but just a beautiful, gorgeous night. And I probably should quit saying that because people are going to get jealous that we're out here enjoying the ballpark and the surroundings, the action on the field, and, of course, the people in the stands and our beautiful camera people that help us out so much answering all our questions during the contest. I'm sure you'd agree.
I would agree with you, Jim. Jody Johnson and Margot Baez doing the camera work for us tonight, doing an excellent job of filming this ballgame. Leading off in the third, again, we've got Ben Finney hitting only .083.
And here's one back to the pitcher. Quickly up with the ball is Lombardo. Boy, he took his time on it, throws it over to Lucas, nonetheless got the out. Sometimes you can take a little too much time and lose track of that runner, but .083 average is going to go down. 1 down now here in the top of the third. Penfield looking to start something. Stepping into the right-handed batter's box this time for Penfield is number 13, Jim Kosmerick.
Jimmy doesn't have a batting average yet this year. He's 0 for 5 on this season, as that first pitch is a tad inside and goes all the way to the screen.
More inside, it might have hit us.
Yeah, us, him, the people in the stands. I think he just lost a little bit off of that one. We do have one other camera person down the left field line here. Brian Reitzema, I believe, is the name Jody pointed out to me. So we do have a trio of camera people working here tonight.
And a strike floats in across the outside corner that time. A little let-up pitch, and it's 1-1 on the count now. Jim Kosmerick, as you say, he's down at the bottom of the order there trying to get something started here. We've got Brian Clark, leadoff man, up next. There's a pitch, a little low. 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Kind of strange to see a catcher in the leadoff spot, but Brian Clark batting in the next spot in the lineup in the on-deck circle is that particular case.
Well, Brian, again, we said this about Tim Channels. Brian is a young man who had attended in Bellevue his freshman year. I had him on freshman baseball team there, and he's got the speed that it takes to be a leadoff hitter. He just happens to be a catcher by trait and by ability, and the knees haven't caught up with him yet. It's first thing to go with catchers. You don't see too many catchers steal. You see Benito Santiago or John Wathan in the pros who have stole a number of bases, but for the most part, catchers lag behind.
Lombardo throws one down the middle at the numbers that time, or letters, whichever way you want to look at it, and evens the count at 2-2 here. 1 down, top of the 3rd inning. Penfield with nobody on base, and they face right now a 3-0 deficit. Lombardo doing a nice job. 0-2 in the season, but looking for his first win, and does have a 3-run cushion. Tough pitch to take that time, and the count goes full as Kosmerick let one fly by, and it was just high.
Kosmerick looks down to third to get a sign from Coach Dave Hudson, and Dave Hudson says, if it's there, hit it.
Yeah, what other sign can you give at this point? And here's the windup. Foul tip, staying alive that time. Nice piece of hitting by Kosmerick, is somewhat fooled on the pitch, barely getting a piece of it. Staying alive, as I say, though. 3-2 count on the batter with 1 out for Penfield, Jim Kosmerick.
Jim would like to shore up his stats a little bit here. Looking across the line, he's batted 5 times this year, and he's gone down on strikes all 5 times.
And taking a walk on a very, very close pitch was Jim Kosmerick, but that does put a runner on base for the Penfield Panthers here in the top of the 3rd inning. 1 down now, and we've got the top of the order coming up, Dave.
And that's Brian Clark, first time up, first pitch hitting, hit a shot down to the 3rd baseman, Tim Channels. He was tossed out easily at first base. Clark comes into the game, as you said before, hitting a .250. See what he can do here in the 3rd inning with a teammate on first base.
We've got McGrath perched behind the plate there at the catcher slot, ready for some kind of action on the bases. Might get a test on the bases right now. Kosmerick looks like he's got a little bit of speed.
Yeah, Jim, again, a multi-sport athlete. As we've seen in every game we've been, every player plays at least 2 sports. There are no one-sport athletes anymore. A foul ball going down the right side, giving chase is Pat Lucas, and the right fielder out there for the Tigers, which is Chris Brewster, falls safely, or foul at least, into the right field corner.
Safely's good. Safely's good. Didn't get caught. No one out, so good deal for Penfield. Either way, 1 strike is the count now. Holding the runner close is Lombardo, pitching from the stretch also for the first time that I can remember seriously in the contest anyway. He is keeping an eye on that runner at first.
Nice leadoff by Kosmerick. I expect him going here on this pitch.
And trying to protect the runner. Maybe there was a sign on, but either way, boy, that was way out front, and swinging that time, of course, was the batter Brian Clark. Now in a hole at 0-2 on the count. 1 down. Runner at first base is Kosmerick for Penfield, and Lombardo in the catbird seat right now has the advantage from the pitcher's mound.
He's got the advantage. He's thrown 2 curveballs to Clark, and throws a fastball just high.
And let me tell you, that fastball looked awfully good from this angle, but called just high, as you say. And right now, I think Mr. Lombardo out there, Pete Lombardo, we might add, is probably thinking that the strike zone has shrunk even further.
Yeah. Clark's got a rather open stance at the plate.
And out of there, here's the throw to second on the stolen base attempt, and it is successful. So Kosmerick steals second, as taking the pitch that time for the called 3rd strike was Brian Clark. So apparently, not only missing a sign, because you would think in that situation swinging to protect the runner, but also taking a very good pitch was Brian Clark. Unfortunate for the Panthers, but now there's 2 down, and as we say, a runner in scoring position, though, as Kosmerick is safe at second.
And that's going to bring to the plate Brent Lance, now playing 3rd base for the Panthers. That pitch on Brian Clark was right at the knees. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes on you.
And here's a grounder in the hole at short. Nice stop that time by O'Byrick. Over to first, a long throw, the stretch, and out of there making the play is Pat Lucas. That's the best play in the ball game, folks. That's the end of the top of the third inning. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, it's St. Philip 3 and Penfield nothing. Nice play by O'Byrick as he went into the hole, backhanded the ball at short.
That was
got his foot set in the back there and threw it strong over to Pat Lucas. That stretch was what got that out, I think.
Yeah, when you're 6'4", you've got a lot of stretch over there at first base, and he needed every inch of that stretch. Tremendous. On a boom play at first base, but retired over there at first base is Brent Lance. Nothing across again for the Panthers. It's no runs on no hits. There was a walk in the inning. And as we go to the bottom of the third, we have the score St. Philip 3, Penfield 0.
Give us the runs, hits, and errors line score at the end of 3 if you could.
Okay, real quickly across here, we've got the Tigers with 3 runs on 2 hits. The Tigers have committed, I believe, 1 error. I don't have it down here, but yes, they do have 1 error committed. And
that error at shortstop.
That's right. Where O'Byrick threw the ball way up in the air.
Where unfortunately Kurt Walters got hurt and is out of the contest now.
Right. For Penfield, their line score is no runs, no hits, and they've also committed 1 error in the field. And so we're 3-0. You've got the line score up to date, 3-0 St. Philip. In the third inning, they're going to be leading off with the center fielder, Brock Monica.
And, of course, we talked about Brock in the first inning. 7.14 average, tremendous. Slugging percentage, 1,286. That's just tremendous. Comes into this game with a total of 5 hits. 2 of them being doubles, 1 triple, so 3 out of the 5 hits are for extra bases. Brock comes at you from the left side, and a very, very tough man to have in the third spot of your lineup.
Now, when you've got a slugging percentage of over 1,000, it puts some fear, I would think, into the Panthers, unless they know something about Brock that we don't.
Of course, we've got the right-handed pitcher out there on the mound, Finney. Supposedly an advantage for the left-handed batter, as he gets a full view of that and doesn't have to protect the inside part of the plate maybe as much as he would on against a left-hander. Maybe not bailing out as much. Maybe that's a good phrase.
Yeah, I gotta say there's no bailout against a left-hander.
And there's a smack to short. Up with the ball, but not quite as it goes through. And into left field on the air that time. It's short. Monaco will take first on the air to lead off the top of the, the bottom of the third here. And St. Philip has their leadoff man on. Kosmeric, tough play.
Yeah, Kosmeric, the ball just stayed down on him. He expected to see a hop in there, and it stayed down, went under the glove for an error on the shortstop. Brings up Pat Lucas, the cleanup hitter for the Tigers. Pat came into the contest, as we talked earlier, hitting 375. And see what he can do here. He drove in a run with a bounce out to second in the first inning.
So we've got Monica on first, no one out, bottom of the third. Tigers already enjoying a 3-0 lead. And cleanup man Pat Lucas, ground ball to Hogan, over to 1 by the shortstop Kosmeric after he gets to force his second. I meant over to 2, Dave.
You're all right,
nice
Jim.
Little grounder there. And a perfect double play ball on a normal day, I think slowed down somewhat by the wet grounds out here.
Well, that was off to the side of Jason Hogan at second base. He wasn't able to get over and get in front of it, and Pat Lucas, with some speed of his own, 6'4" frame, legged it out at first base, was safe easily as the relay throw from Kosmeric didn't get there. Bringing to the plate now Charles Longerman, who walked in his first at-bat.
And Lonergan, 267 average, takes the ball to start it out. Lucas at first, 1 down on the fielder's choice play, and that went Hogan to the new shortstop Kosmeric. They did make sure of it. They didn't try to hurry. It didn't look like they attempted the double play. They wanted 1 and then figured they'd take whatever they could get. Here's a strike on the inside corner. 1-1 the count on Lonergan now. Smart play, though. I mean, you got to be safe out there. You're behind in the contest. And if you try to hurry and throw it into left field, the merry-go-round starts for the Tigers.
Yeah, you throw the ball past the shortstop, and you've got runners at second and third, at least. There's a little looper out into right field.
This could drop in, and it does. Let's see what Lucas does. Round second, bobbled in right. He's going to take third safely on the single by Charles Lonergan. And we've got runners at first and third. The Tigers making some big-time noise here in the bottom of the third inning. Already up 3-0, and that was a definite Texas lead single. Same spot as we had earlier in the contest, Dave.
Yeah, earlier on, the single out there by Troy Ramos. This time, The single goes out there for Charles Longren, and I'm going to give an error to the right fielder, allowing Lucas to go to third base, as the ball was there and he just bobbled it coming up. So we've got runners at the corners. Again, Pete Lombardo at the plate. Same instance as last time he was up in the first inning. He drove in 2 runs with a single to right center. Let's see what he can do in this try at the plate.
Okay. Boy, a tough scorekeeper you are, I'll tell you. As rounding second, right about when the ball was out there, was Lucas, but I think that's probably the right call because it would have been very, very close at third base.
Well, I'm a tough scorekeeper. I used to be a coach, and I was always tougher on the kids.
Strike one that time is the call on the first pitch to Lombardo. And here's another opportunity where Pete can help out his own cause. 200 average. The junior is doing a nice job on the mound, pitching 3 scoreless innings, and of course 3 hitless innings, according to our expert scorekeeper, Dave Eubank.
No, they do have 1 hit.
Ah, 1 hit. I thought you said no hits.
No, the board's got him down for 1.
Ah, good. I had 1 hit. That makes one thing I did right today. There's a grounder to second and through for a base hit. And Pat Lucas is going to score on his way to third because the ball goes through right field on another error and taking second. Here comes around third is Lonergan. He's going to slide home safely and taking a look at third base, but going back that time is the batter. Pete Lombardo helps out his cause. Single to right. And another play by Ron Worthington that seems extremely unfortunate for that young man as the ball went through the wickets, got by him, so Lombardo takes second all the way from first base, goes Lonergan to score. Pat Lucas, of course, already on third base, scored easily on the single. 5-0 to count now, and let's see if Dave Eubank will agree with my recount there.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. It's 5-0, and that is another error on the right fielder, Ron Worthington, as he let the ball go under his glove. Lonerman getting his sprints in tonight. That's twice he sprinted from first base to home plate with Lombardo at the plate. It's going to bring up the catcher, Mark McGrath, who first time up took a called third strike. We give Pete Lombardo 1 RBI on the play, making that his 3rd of the contest. See if McGrath can keep it going here for the Tigers.
And he takes a strike to start it off here. We have got 1 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 5-0 count now. The Tigers in the lead. Of course, they came in with only 1 victory. That was experienced on this weekend in their hometown Catholic tournament. They're looking for another one right now. Oh, a big cut on a low pitch that time. And missing, of course, was the young batter, Mark McGrath, the sophomore. .313 average. Went fishing that time. Found nothing. And that was more like a golf swing that time. Nonetheless,
get out the 9-iron. Get out the 9-iron. See what we can do.
And there's a pitch. Grounded to Kosmeric. Comes up with it over to first. We've got the out. 6-3, and taking third on the throw that time was the pitcher. We're now running the bases, Pete Lombardo. 2 down now for the Tigers, and coming to the plate, trying to keep it alive with somebody at third base to score. Waiting, Jason O'Byrick.
Yeah, Lombardo had the ball in front of him, was able to move up as Kosmeric tossed the ball across to Jason Selvage and advances to third base. Pass ball now with scoring. We're going to have Ben Finney in the windup throwing to Jason O'Byrick.
And there's one beat into the ground. St. Phil's been beating a lot of grounders into the ground. I'm not sure if that's because of the slants of Ben Finney or whatever reason. Probably that's the case. But either way, Dave Hudson, I have noticed, has moved his infield in to take a hop away from this slow-moving infield.
Slow-moving infield and fast-moving batters. As you said, they're averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 8 stolen bases a game. They hit the ball on the ground, as Willie Ramos obviously is teaching them. Hit the ball on the ground, then they've got a chance to make an error. They can't make an error if it's hit in the air.
1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Taken. Boy, I tell you, those Tigers take a few pitches, and they're taking some close ones. But most of the time tonight so far, they have had rulings in their favor. 2-1 count now. 2 down, man on third. That's the pitcher, Lombardo. There's a smack down the third baseline. Just foul, almost over the bag. And boy, I'll tell you, somewhat disappointed was O'Byrick, as he knew that was a run-scoring single, at least, if that could have been fair. But nonetheless, it is called foul. 2-2 the count now. Penfield trying to get out of another jam, but already down by 5 runs early.
Down by 5 runs, and that was a nice hit by O'Byrick. Just fouled down the third baseline as Lombardo skipped out of the way of it. Brings the count even at 2-2, and we're running out of baseballs here this afternoon. The umpire says the foul balls are going out of play, and the kids are keeping them. This isn't Tiger Stadium. This is C.O. Brown Stadium this afternoon.
Taking one just low the knees. I'll tell you, that was a tough pitch, and Finney wanted it big time bad.
Finney was on his way to the dugout.
Absolutely, but it was called low. Full count now, 3-2, and I would hazard a guess that O'Byrick better be swinging on this pitch, because I think anything close will be a strike. And he does swing. There's a grounded to third, and not getting it. A fair ball is called, I believe. O'Byrick's going to beat it out, and the Rugg's going to score.
I believe you got to score that another error, Dave. Tough play, though.
Yeah, we got an error now on Brent Lance as he straddled the line. The ball was fair. And another run scores as Pete Lombardo comes home.
RBI.
No RBI on the play. O'Byrick safe at first base on the fourth error of this third inning for the Panthers. It's going to bring up third baseman Tim Channels, who first time up, first pitch hitting, hit the ball out to the second baseman Jason Hogan and was tossed out rather easily. Let's see what O'Byrick does down on first base with this opportunity to move up.
Well, I think he's going to go. But he's not going on this pitch, and it's fouled off for strike one. I'll tell you, these St. Philip Tigers have really come to play tonight. 3 runs in the bottom of the first they scored to start this game off in fine style offensively for themselves, and 3 more runs here in the third inning helped immensely, I think, by the play out in the field of the Panthers. Kind of unfortunate for the Panthers, but nonetheless, that is the true accurate case. There's a swing and a miss, and running on the pitch and stealing second base that time was the runner. Of course, that's Jason O'Byrick. First stolen base in the contest, if I'm not mistaken, and it's very possible.
You're right, Jim. That's the first stolen base. Tim Channels swung at that pitch. He swings rather defensively up there. May have some explanation to why he's hitting 167 on the year. There's no stride to his step. He hits rather flat-footed, all with his arms.
Tim's young, plays third base, just a sophomore, 167 average. There's a pitch that goes by the catcher, and that's by Brian Clark, taking third on that particular play. And what are you going to call that, Dave?
That's a wild pitch.
I would call that a wild pitch, too. It's an amazing day when we can agree on that particular call in the game.
On the first attempt of the game for making a match, we win.
And now what's big about that particular play is we've got a runner at third now. 1-2 the count, but Mr. Finney out there at the mound cannot afford to do the same thing one more time because it's another run in the books for the Tigers if he does.
Now, the Panthers are struggling a little bit. Like I said, 4 errors in the inning. And they've only got 1 hit. 2 hits. There's a shot off the hand of Finney. Loses his glove, but picks it up and throws out Channels at first base.
Nice play that time. The play's going to go 1-3 on the comebacker to the mound, but a nice play that time, and hopefully no injury has been suffered by Ben Finney, as that was a tough one. Tim Channels, nicest swing of his at bat, and hit it hard. But to right at Ben Finney to end the inning. At the end of 3 innings of play, it's St. Philip 6 and Penfield 0.
Channels had a really good swing at that ball, saw it, followed it right back through the box, and Finney luckily got his arm in front of it, knocked it down, throw him out. Otherwise, we've got a runner at second base and another run in for the Tigers. As you said, Jim, 3 runs across. They got 2 singles that inning from Longerman and Lombardo. 4 Penfield errors really aided the Tigers' chances there in the third inning, as those 4 errors come back to cost them not a single earned run in the inning. And the Panthers are going to be coming out here in the top of the 4th, sending to the plate second baseman Jason Hogan, being followed by the designated hitter Scott Clothier, and then the new left fielder Scott Dukeman will bat third for the Panthers.
Well, I talked earlier about the averages per team for runs, hits, and errors, and I mentioned that the St. Philip Tigers average 3.5 errors a game, and that we might want to look for that as one of the things to kind of keep our eye on in this contest. I did not mention the fact that Penfield should have their eyes open tonight in the field, but nonetheless, unfortunately for the Panthers, they just do not seem to have it tonight out there in the field. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they took this team a little light. I know a lot of people, because of this record, which is somewhat deceiving by the Tigers, they look at a 1-5 team, and of course, they've lost a couple games by pretty big scores, but they have lost 2 or 3 games in extra innings, and they played Lakeview tough, the doubleheader to start the season. I don't know. Maybe they took St. Phil a little light. What do you think?
I would have to agree with you on that one, Jim. I think that 1-5 record is deceiving, and the youth is obviously deceiving. As you say, the Tigers have played Lakeview. Lakeview just lost their first game yesterday, knocked off by the Harper Creek Beavers by a 3-2 count, and that was their first loss of the year. They lost twice to Lakeview. They did win a game in their Catholic tournament, and they've got Surreal Cities coming up this weekend, so they're just kind of tuning up for that, I got to believe.
Yeah, they better get it more in tune at this point in the contest. They're down by 6 runs, the Panthers are. It's the top of the 4th inning, and leading off is Jason Hogan, 476 average on the season. Panthers under tenure coach Dave Hudson. He's been around a long time, a decade of excellence. Here is a fly ball to right. Camping underneath that ball out there is Chris Brewster, and camping without tent stakes, I might add, as he was kind of wandering around out there, but making the catch. He squeezes it for the first out in the 4th.
And one down now in the top of 4 for Penfield.
Both times up today, Jason Hogan has swung at pitches out of the strike zone and hit pop-ups. First time to the third baseman channels, this time out to right field to Brewster. Right field can be a little deceiving here at C.L. Brown. I played out there a few years ago when I played for KCC, and I never camped. You can't camp. You gotta roam in the outfields here.
There is one inside to the batter. That's Scott Clothier, .412 average coming in. DHing tonight for the Panthers.
First time at the plate, Scott took a called third, a rather disputed called third strike, leading off the second inning. He's in the 2 slot here in the 4th inning as he takes a call, or rather takes a ball for the first pitch.
Takes a nice cut on that fastball down the middle, but misses, comes up empty. 1-1 the count now. 1 down, top of 4. Penfield down by 6. 6-0 is the score. Only 1 hit so far by the Panthers, and they are going to have to put on and tie hard their hitting shoes here. That one's going to float high on the let-up pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike to count.
The only hit for the Panthers is by the player who has left the game, and that was Kurt Wallers, as he singled with 1 out in the 2nd inning. So their only hitter is sitting over on the bench at this point.
There's one right smack down the middle and taken for strike 2, and I'll tell you, that looked good from this angle. Lombardo come right down the middle, said, hey, nobody's walking to get on base on me at this point in the contest. I'm up 6. Here's one for you to hit. Letting it float by was Clothier. 2-2 the count. Let up pitch in front of the curveball that time was the DH Clothier. Stays alive at 2-2.
I don't know that last pitch prior to this. It was a called strike. Clothier questioned. Like you said, from this angle, it looked like they're right down the heart of the plate. Lombardo.
And it was not that fast. I thought that was just right smack down here. Hit it.
Lombardo doesn't really throw what I would call a fastball. He's got some good stuff, but he throws a lot of motion pitches, a lot of curveballs, and a lot of change of pace pitches.
And there's one just fouled off to the screen, staying alive. Just getting a piece of it was Clothier, and I'll tell you, Lombardo let up on that one with a breaking ball.
He's coming from 3/4 or the full sidearm, and the first step by Clothier, every pitch that he swung at, I don't care if he's got around on it well or not, his first step has been right over toward third base coach Dave Hudson.
Well, Lombardo's a junior, but doing a nice job tonight. There's one right smack down the middle again, I thought. Might have caught the outside corner from this angle, hard to tell, but it looked good from here, and I tell you, the man in blue behind the plate said, I agree. Strike 3, 2 down now on Penfield. No one on here in the top of 4, and I don't think you can take pitches like that when you're down 6 runs.
I don't think you can either, and Mr. Clothier, very dissatisfied with the call, tossed his helmet into the dugout. He's getting the eye from the field umpire, and that's call for ejection, but we're not going to get any motion here.
There's a smack back to the mound. Lombardo knocks it down, throws over to Lucas quickly as he waited there towards the end. Nice hustle that time for Penfield, but no avail. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Lombardo and the Tigers. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, it's St. Philip 6, and the Panthers from Penfield nothing.
Yeah, Lombardo took that shot off the bat of Scott Dukeman, had it in his glove for a second and dropped it. Easily tossed out Dukeman at first base as he tried the Chet Lemon imitation over there, going head first into first base, but to no avail. As you say, they go 1-2-3. Another strikeout recorded for pitcher Lombardo as he again strikes out the designated hitter Scott Clothier on a disputed called third strike. After 3 full innings, we got a score of 6-0 in favor of the Tigers. Leading off the 4th inning for St. Philip will be their trio of outfielders, sophomore outfielders Chris Brewster, Troy Ramos, and Brock Monica.
Well, right now the Tigers have this one in hand. And I'll tell you, we've had 2 shots up the middle, and both of them knocked down by their pitchers, one with a glove and one with a bare hand, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that one hurt a little bit, but nice plays down there at the mound, fielding-wise tonight. But a nice shot, probably one of the hardest hit balls. That last one by Lombardo knocked it down. Easily threw out the man at first there, but good hustle by Penfield. I think that Penfield needs to be a little bit more aggressive out there at the plate.
Well, I don't think at the plate. They need to be a little bit more aggressive in the field, position themselves right. 6 errors have really hurt their chances this afternoon. And Chris Brewster, who was a beneficiary of the first error of the game, as he led off the first inning by tapping to the shortstop, who tossed it away, allowing him to be safe at first base. And then in the 2nd inning, he drew a walk. Leading off here in the 4th, let's see what Brewster can do against Ben Finney.
Well, Chris Brewster, the sophomore, .333 average. I would imagine his parents Would love it if he turned out like Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions and get a lot of money. Well, that comes later. This young man's only a sophomore. Takes the first pitch for a ball. My hand at comedy so far here tonight has certainly failed, I think.
I think I missed it. I was trying to listen to some directions from the camera people, James.
Yeah, you don't want to hear a replay. There's a pitch, floats in for a strike. 1-1 the count now is Chris Brewster. Starts it off here for the Tigers. They've had a nice offensive game going for them, and defensively also, but they have scored 6 runs here in 3 innings of play. And there's one high, 2-1 the count now. Brewster with a lot of speed, comes from the left side, and there is no reason to think that this young man isn't looking forward to getting on first base and trying to steal a base.
I got a feeling he gets to first. He's on second just about as quickly as Ricky Henderson. 2-2 now on Brewster.
A nice swing that time, but coming up empty is Brewster. You know, they call that something there in St. Philip Tigerland when they get on base and run around there stealing bases like a merry-go-round. They call that Willie Ball. I want you to know. Willie Ramos calls that Willie Ball. And there's a foul back to the screen, back by us here. Staying alive is Chris Brewster. 1 and 2 the count here to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. Nobody on, nobody out, and Brewster looking to get on first.
Well, I don't know if the scoreboard's right, Jim. I've got a 2-2 count.
That's what I thought, too.
And so does Doug Saltzgaber, the young man behind the plate doing the umpiring.
Okay.
And he's the man. Go on down to first base. Just going to bring up Troy Ramos, the left fielder. He is 1 for 2 thus far on the afternoon. He singled to right in the first inning. Flew out to center field.
There's a fly ball to center on first pitch hitting, trying to protect the runner, and camping underneath that ball is Rob Morris. Easily puts away the out. 1 down now, heading back to second is Brewster. He did take off on the pitch trying to steal, but of course, as all good runners do, picked up the ball as it hit the bat and played it halfway, went back to first. 1 down now, Brewster at first, St. Phil up by 6, and stepping in, Dave will fill us in.
Stepping into the plate right now is Brock Monica. I believe Brewster had second base stolen on that play, and Troy Ramos, it was a strike. He had to hit it. Brock Monica 0 for 2 thus far on the afternoon.
Brooke Monica.
Brooke?
Brooke Monica.
Brooke? Okay. We'll rephrase that. It's Brooke.
That was my understanding anyway, but...
okay, well, you had a chance to talk to Willie. I'm just trying to go from my writing.
Yeah, so we apologize, Brooke or Brock, whoever you are, but Brooke Monica is an accomplished player. We're going to call him Brooke. He protects the plate. They're out front, but foul. He nailed one into the dirt. Bounced up, but out quickly from behind the catcher's particular stance. There was Brian Clark. Boy, he's on that ball like a cat on a mouse, I think.
Yeah, he jumps off from behind the plate really well, and he hasn't had a chance to attempt to throw anybody out at second base. Again, Brewster had a nice jump down there at first base. Let's see if he goes here on the 0-1.
And there's a pitch just outside. Another left-handed batter. And Ben Finney does not find those lefties to his liking, I imagine, as far as control goes. I would think a little tougher to pitch to a lefty. It was for me when I pitched back when I was about 5 years old, because I certainly can't pitch. Strike on the swing. Monica missed that one. Come up empty. 1 and 2 the count now as St. Phil is enjoying this contest immensely against their crosstown rivals, the Panthers.
Well, I think the pronunciation on this young man's first name is Brooke. I just heard Mom, Monica, in the background. Let's go Brooke. So we'll stick with Brooke.
Okay. And there's a grounder to second. Running on the play and beating it to second is Brewster. There's a little lob to first. It goes Hogan to salvage, and that's going to be the second out of the inning. But taking second is Brewster as he was running on the play. 2 down now, and Pat Lucas, the cleanup man, is going to step in. Dave's going to fill us in on his season average and what he's done today.
Well, so far, Pat is 0 for 2. He hit the ball both times to second baseman Jason Hogan. He comes into the game with a 375 average, and the 0 for 2 this afternoon isn't going to help that. It's going to make him 6 for 18, which is going to drop his average down to 333 on the season. Pat has scored a run and knocked in a run, however, for the Tigers. And they're going to intentionally walk Pat here to put the runners, 2 runners on base.
Not a bad move in this particular spot. I would think Willie Ramos down there in the third base coaching box was thinking Pat's 0 for 2 and definitely due. Penfield agreed. They put him on with the intentional walk. First and second are the runners for the Tigers. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning, but they do already enjoy a 6-0 count on the scoreboard, so they're up by 6, looking for more. And right now, stepping in, Dave will fill us in again.
Charles Longerman stepping into the plate. Charles is 1 for 1, scored a pair of runs. He's been the sprinter on this team, scoring from first base twice. Runner
There
breaks
goes Brewster
to third,
and he's going to be out of there. A nice throw that time by Brian Clark. Taken that time by Lonergan, but thrown out at third to end the inning was Brewster. No runs scored in the bottom of the fourth by St. Philip. And at the end of 4 complete innings of play, it's the St. Philip Tigers 6 and the Penfield Panthers nothing.
The Tigers rather, nothing across there. They did have a pair of walks, and that's the first time this afternoon that they've gone out without having a runner beyond the, without having one or more runners left on base. I'm lost right now, Jim. Help me, please. Longerman was at the plate, took the pitch, and it was thrown out. Catcher to the third baseman was Brewster, and they get nothing across. 6-0 for the Tigers going to the top of 5.
And if Penfield's going to do it, they better start doing it right now. Now, this St. Philip Tiger team has averaged giving up a lot of runs this year. In fact, they average scoring 7 runs a game. They average giving up 8 runs a game. So if history repeats itself here according to how the season's gone, Penfield is in this game, even though they're down 6. St. Phil has not proved very adept at closing out games. Only 1 win to show for their efforts this year so far. And of course, that was against Manistee, who was extremely out-Manistee, I think, in their contest, as mercying Manistee with St. Philip this week in 18-2. But that is the only victory so far by the St. Philip Tigers. They have had 2 one-run losses in extra innings this year, one against Battle Creek Lakeview, one against Mount Pleasant. Also, Lakeview won 7-5, another close game. St. Phil kind of been snake bit a little bit. They're taking out on the Panthers so far, but Penfield definitely in the contest.
Yep. The Tigers have some defensive changes. Troy Ramos moves to shortstop. Jason O'Byrick to third, and out of the game is going to be Tim Channels, and he's going to be replaced in the batting order by a new left fielder, Dante DeVito. Leading off for the Panthers in inning number 5 is the center fielder, Rob Morris. First time up, Rob hit the ball to the second baseman and was thrown out rather easily.
Taking that time for another ball just outside. That one looked pretty close, too.
So the new defensive set for the Tigers is O'Byrick at third, Ramos at short, Longerman at second, Lucas still at first base as Morris swings and misses at the offering by Lombardo. In the outfield, we now have DeVito in left. In center field, we still have Brooke Monica, and in right field, Chris Brewster.
You're thinking of Brock Mikely from St. Phil.
Well, when I saw the lineup, that's who I thought it was, Jim, and pitch is a called strike.
Track star, I believe.
Is he? Does he run track?
I believe he does. I believe.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Rob Morris.
Okay, now picking up the count here is yours truly to start the top of the 5th inning. And there's a swing and a little pop-up off third. Moving over is O'Byrick. He one-hands it for the first out of the inning. 1 down now. Penfield looking to get some runners, but not doing it the right way at this point.
Stepping to the plate now, first baseman number 21, Jason Selvage. Jason comes into this contest hitting .353. First time this afternoon, he hit the ball to the shortstop, O'Byrick, and was safe on an error.
Selvage, .353 average coming in.
Jason's also one of the pitchers for the Panthers. He's got a 1-1 record this year as he swings and misses at strike 1.
Nice curveball on the inside part of the plate, broke across, and missing it on the swing was Selvage.
A lot of curveballs from Lombardo this afternoon.
And a lot of successful curveballs, we might add. He's doing a great job. Still only 1 hit for the Panthers so far. And there's a smack, and that's deep. That's possibly over the head of the outfielder, and it is. It's all the way to the warning track, just about, and going in safely. Won a double, holding up smartly that time, Jason Selvage. But the best hit of the contest by either team, and maybe, just maybe, those Panthers over there are going to come out of the cave and get fired up here, because that was a definite big-time smack of the ball.
Yeah, that was a shot out there. The outfielders are playing shallow, and, of course, the fence is .385. That's a long poke in high school ball, but Jason Selvage got every bit of that ball, got it all the way to the warning track, ends up on second base with a long double, bringing to the plate the pitcher, Ben Finney. Last time up, Ben bounced out to his counterpart at the mound, Mr. Lombardo. See what he can do here.
Pitch number 1 comes in a little low. 1-0 on Finney. .083 was his average at the start of today. And so far in the contest,
You said what again?
He's 0 for 1. Bounced out,
Okay.
bounced back to Lombardo in the second inning.
All right. And right now, Mr. Lombardo does not need to worry about that runner. There's a curveball. 2-0 the count, and I would hazard to guess that Willie Ramos wants Lombardo to come right smack after Finney. That run at second base, as Dave Eubanks would always say in his strategical analysis, it does not mean a thing.
Well, Jason Salvage doesn't mean much out there at second. It's 1 run, and they need a bunch here in inning number 5. Come right at Finney, get him out of there.
And taking it high for ball 3 is Finney. There is a base open, but with a 083 batter up there, 1 out, you want to go after Kazmarek next, who came into this game without a hit anyway.
Kazmarek's on deck, came in without a hit, walked in the third inning.
At the knees, and almost ready to throw that bat away was Ben Finney, and boy, that's the kiss of death on this next pitch. Anything close, I think it's going to be a strike.
I would have to agree. The calls have gone definitely in the favor of the Tigers this afternoon, and Ben Finney better be ready to swing the bat.
Here's a curve, grounded to third. And O'Byrick looks him back, throws to first. Lucas pulled his foot a little bit, but the out call was given, so 2 down now, and the nice play at third. Taking third that time was the runner from Penfield. Of course, that was the man that hit that long double, Jason Salvage. So the out goes 5-3. Nice play by O'Byrick, and Lucas did stretch a little bit to get that out. 2 down now, men at third. 6-0 to score, and coming to bat, Dave.
Is Jim Kazmarek, the shortstop now, walked in the third inning. That was a nice play by O'Byrick. Wasn't sure he had it in his glove, had to look a second time. Found the ball, threw it to Pat Lucas, got the out at first base, and almost got Salvage coming across to third, as covering up over there was Troy Ramos.
One thing about it is O'Byrick kept that ball in front of him, too. You let one go by you there, and it's a run scored, and you almost wish you didn't even make that throw.
Yeah.
Ball comes in, and it's ball 1, floats across high.
Now, if you don't get a glove on that, then at least knock it down. Jason Salvage scores easily from second base, and then you've got another runner on, and trouble is brewing as Kazmarek chases a high fastball.
And chase is the word, because that was at least shoulder high, if not a little higher. Did foul tip it, but it's a 1-1 on the count now.
They're easier to see when they're up there. I remember that from when I played ball.
Okay.
An eye-level fastball is always easier to see than one down around your knees.
Well, knee level for you is eye level for me, so.
You're not that short.
Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Oh, and picked off would have been Salvage, I believe, but the throw was not exactly perfect. Nice attempt that time at third base was Jason O'Byrick, who's moved over there, but he did save that throw from going into the foul territory and a run scored. I don't think I mess with this particular play if I'm Lombardo.
I was going to say, it was an odd move. He was pitching from the set and threw over there. Had Salvage picked off, had O'Byrick held on to the ball. Now goes from the windup, though.
And there's a pop-up behind first base. Chasing it is Pat Lucas and gets close, to be honest with you. Nice attempt by that young man, but coming up just a little short. The ball falls safely. Still alive at the plate. Of course, is Kazmarek for Penfield. 2 down, man on third. Penfield down by 6 right now. We're in the top of the 5th inning if you've just joined us. And Penfield has not had a good evening here. Only 2 hits in the contest. You just hopefully witnessed the best hit of the contest by either team is Salvage, who is perched on third, smacked a double all the way to the warning track. But Kazmarek looking to get him home. 2 down now.
Pat Lucas gave a valiant effort on that foul ball, as closer than I thought he'd get to it, as the ball fell just out of his reach. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kazmarek.
Floats high on the pitch taken by Kazmarek. 2-2 the count now. And I don't know if you've noticed, Dave, but Chris Brewster out in right field has come in a little bit.
He's come in and he's shading the line a little bit towards the right field line. Maybe he can help out if the ball comes over there again.
I'm thinking Chris Brewster might be in a little bit too much here with that big lead. And here's a shot. Over to get it is the second baseman. Lonergan throws him out at first as Lucas steps on the bag. That's it for the Panthers here in the top of the 5th. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings of play is St. Philip 6 and Penfield nothing.
Panthers had their first real threat of the game as Salvage had that 1-out double. Moved to third with 2 out and wasn't able to be advanced around by the bottom of the Panther order as Kazmarek and Finney both hit infield outs. For the Tigers in inning number 5, they're going to be leading off with Charles Longerman, who just made that play in the field. As you've said before, so often happens. You make the final out in the field, you come up and you lead off an inning. He'll be followed by Pete Lombardo, who's been nothing but help for himself. He's 2 for 2. driven in 3 runs and scored a run, not to mention a few fine fielding plays. And then the third hitter in inning number 5 for St. Philip will be the catcher, Mark McGrath.
Well, Lombardo's just pitched an outstanding game for the Tigers tonight. A 2-hitter so far at the end of his 5 innings pitched. Just done a great job. I can't imagine that the Tigers would switch up their lineup anymore because of the lack of wind so far this season. They got to grab it when it's there. They are up by 6 right now. They seem to have all the momentum, but you never know how quickly a game can change. This Panther team is definitely dangerous.
Well, they've got a lot of what's the word I want to use? Experience, I guess, out there. Although they are again young, they lost their senior leader in Kurt Walters back in the 2nd inning. See what they can do here. See if Finney can settle down and throw some strikes here. He's got the part of the order up that's hurting the most. Longerman and Lombardo. Between them, they're 3 for 3 with 4 RBI, 3 runs scored out of the 6, and if there's been a spot in the order that's hurt him, it's this part right here.
And not only that, but probably a tremendous surprise offensively for the Panthers. Bunt attempt that time by Lonergan, fouled off though. 1 strike now to start the bottom of the 5th inning. These gentlemen apparently accomplished hitters tonight, but coming into the contest, Lonergan just 267 average, Lombardo a pitcher by trade and hits somewhat like that coming in, at least at 200, but doing a great job swinging the sticks tonight.
He's had 2 hits, both of them to right field has Lombardo, but whether they're to right field or whether it's a shot down the left field line, it's a base hit, and they all help the cause.
Low, 2 balls, 1 strike to count here to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Tigers, and they're looking to add to that 6-run count they've got on the scoreboard offensively. There's a swing and a little fly ball pop-up off first base. It's going to die out there safely. Fall safely. Selvage chasing it nicely with some hustle, but to no avail. And I'll tell you, Lonergan, right off the end of the bat, just a little bit behind that one. Luckily for him, really, if he would have caught it a little earlier, it would have been right to Selvage.
Yeah, Selvage would have fielded that one for out number 1 here in the 5th inning, but falls safely in foul territory.
And there's a pitch taken, and another close one goes the way of the Tigers.
Curveball that time to Lonergan, and he was backing out as Finney threw it. It did, I guess, miss the inside portion of the plate, according to the umpire. The Penfield faithful don't believe so.
No, and I imagine Dave Hudson has got to be feeling a little bit over there. And there's ball 4 in the dirt. On first to lead off the bottom of 5 is Charles Lonergan, and Pete Lombardo, been a star tonight on the mound and at the plate, is going to step into the box with nobody out and a man on first.
Well, let's see if Lonergan can cut down his sprint. So far tonight, 2 times at the plate, he's been on first base, and he scored on the next pitch as Lombardo's singled twice to the outfield. And Lonergan has some speed, obviously, going from first all the way around the base paths. Draws a throw from catcher Brian Clark on the first pitch, strike 1.
We mentioned 8.2 stolen bases a game are the average for St. Philip. A couple other interesting things. Their team batting average is .318. That's a nice hitting average. But their on-base percentage, .393, not much higher than their batting average. Slugging percentage, .390. They don't hit with a lot of power, this team, but they really nick and knack at you. And there's the stolen base attempt, and going with a pitch is hitting it to first base, of course, was the batter that time, Lombardo. He was protecting the runner, and would have had the base stolen, I think, would have been Lonergan, but either way, protecting the runner, grounded to first, stepping on the bag with Selvage, and I'll get this straight before this play's over, and taking second was the base runner, Charles Lonergan.
I believe you're right, Jim. I think Longerman had second stolen. Lombardo swings. It was a strike. You got to swing at it with a 0-1 count. He hits the ball down to Selvage, who makes the play unassisted, and that'll bring up the catcher, Mark McGrath, who is 0 for 2 this afternoon. He's one of only 3 players on the St. Phil team who hasn't reached base this afternoon.
McGrath, the sophomore catcher, .313 average. Done a nice job behind the plate today, and catchers many times don't get the credit possibly they deserve when a pitcher is really doing a nice job out there at the mound, and of course Lombardo having a great night. McGrath handling the pitching.
With all the curveballs that Lombardo's been throwing, McGrath has done an excellent job keeping the ball in front.
A 2-0 count now on McGrath, so he ought to have a pitch to hit right here.
I think Willie's going to turn him loose on this pitch if it's what he likes. Let's see if we can put another run on the board, says Coach Ramos, and see if we can get Charles all the way back into home. Now he's only got to run from second to the plate.
And there's a smack, and that's up the alley, but getting there quickly, diving, but not lucky on that one. Getting underneath the mitt and out. into left field goes the ball safely, taking second on the double. A nice attempt out there by Rob Morris, the center fielder, and I had to wait a second to make sure he didn't catch it. He did not. The ball squirted underneath his mitt, went behind him, backing up on the play, of course, nicely with Scott Dukeman, but not until Mark McGrath had a double to his credit and did jump on that 2-0 pitch for a run-scoring double. 7 now for the Tigers and nothing for Penfield.
That'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Jason O'Byrick. Jason is 0 for 2. He did reach base on an error by his counterpart down at third base, Brent Lance, last time at the plate. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1.
Ball 1 on the batter, as you say. Boy, I tell you, he did jump on the 2-0 pitch, and I thought it was going to be hit all the way, and then getting over there quickly was Rob Morris for the attempt on the catch. There's a single to right as it goes just over Selvage's mitt. Let's see if the run comes home. Here's McGrath. He runs third, coming home, but holding up at third base, and I personally would have sent him.
Well,
I'm surprised Willie Ball didn't take him and send him down there, make the play. But either way, Tigers enjoying a 7-run lead here and not taking any chances on the bases. They've got runners at first and third on the single that time by Jason O'Byrick, and coming to the plate, of course, is going to be number 7, and Dave, you're going to fill us in.
Okay, that's the new left fielder, Dante DeVito, came in to replace Tim Channels in the order. What happened on that one, Jim, was as McGrath rounded third, he slipped on the bag and had to go back and catch his balance, and by that time, Selvage had the ball in the middle of the infield. Luckily, he got back to first base. O'Byrick credited with a single to right. DeVito comes into the contest tonight. I don't know, do you have a batting average on him, Jim? I don't seem to be able to find my stats laying here.
Let me look up Dante DeVito, coming in at a cool 167, but looking to better it right now against this Panther pitching staff, and takes the first pitch high for a ball.
I would guess Dante's in there for defensive reasons, moved into left field, and Channels come to the bench.
He's got 2 hits, but he also has 2 RBIs on the season. Has struck out 5 times in 12 at bat. There's a swing and a little ground ball foul down to first. 1-1 the count now.
No, a base hit here would definitely score another run, as McGrath would easily score from third. And O'Byrick over there at first base. See if he's running on this pitch, Jim. Runners at the corners, 2 out, 7-0 St. Philip.
Not a big lead, though, so I think not running on the pitch. And not running is the runner, but a strike is called, as taking that time was DeVito.
Well, that's the first call that's gone against the St. Phil Tigers this afternoon. We hear some rumbling in the crowd from the St. Phil faithful. That pitch was a little bit outside, but hey, close enough to call a strike. It obviously was close enough to hit.
1-2 the count. Here's a swing. There's a little pop-up that's going to possibly drop in, making a great attempt, but the ball pops out of his mitt was the left fielder, Scott Dukeman. Now, the runner from first had went back to second, so he's going to be out at second base. And then, of course, was number 30, O'Byrick. He went back thinking the ball was going to be caught, so he's going to be out at second, but the run does come home, and it's now going to be 8-0 in favor of St. Phil. That's got to go, what, Dave?
Well, where it gets scored a single and an RBI for DeVito. O'Byrick is out 7-4 on kind of a fluke play. He started and saw the ball was going to be caught. The Panthers didn't catch it right away that he hadn't run, and it was a close play as Jason Hogan had to tag him out at second base. But anyway, the Tigers get another run as McGrath scores. That brings to the plate Chris Brewster for his 4th attempt as he fouls the ball down behind third base.
1 strike. Dukeman got to that ball quickly. I thought that one was dropping in for sure, too, and he had an excellent opportunity making a great diving catch, and the ball just squirted out of his mitt, unfortunately, for the Panthers. 8-0 now. St. Phil up. 2 outs, man on first. At the plate, of course, is that leadoff man once more. We're getting used to this. Chris Brewster, 333 average, a young sophomore looking to use that speed on the base pass. He's got someone in front of him, though, this time. Of course, that's Dante DeVito over there at first.
Well, Dante's got some speed, too. Willie not running his players with the score 8-0 St. Philip. 0-2 on Brewster. Brewster's been on base all 3 times. He's been the beneficiary of a couple of walks and an error. Doesn't help the average, but it helps the on-base percentage immensely.
Well, and he's...
Ball hit him on the foot.
Yes, he's going to be hit, and he's going to take his base, forcing another runner in scoring position. Dave Hudson a little thin in his mound core, apparently, because we've got 8 runs on the board here in the bottom of the 5th, and Ben Finney is the only young man out there standing at the mound so far tonight, and no one warming up that I can see.
Well, this is a doubleheader, Jim. This game counts in the league standings. I would think Dave Hudson might want to go out there and at least talk to young Mr. Finney, but he's going to leave him out there. He's probably told him, this one's yours, Ben. Do what you can with it. At the bat right now, the shortstop, Troy Ramos. Troy is 1 for 3. First pitch to Troy is in the dirt. Nice stop by Brian Clark. Ball 1.
Ramos is due, and I'm sure Father Willie
would
wants
agree
some
with
Willie
that.
Ball going around here, and I can just about bet the bottom dollar that Dante DeVito will score from second base if there's a single to the outfield. I would think that Willie Ramos would send him around third.
Now,
I knew I was going to say Danny DeVito.
Well, I thought it a couple times and almost
Dante
picked off
DeVito.
second base as Dante DeVito on a nice move by Ben Finney. If Ramos can hit the ball out into right center, you're going to see at least 2 runs score here.
And here's a little one fouled off down the third baseline. 1-1 the count now. Boy, if Scott Weitzel, the director here from Access Vision, just had the theme from Taxi going in the background here, it would have been perfect play there.
Well,
either way.
maybe he can edit that in when this airs on Saturday and Sunday. As you can see it on Access Vision, channel 34.
9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Saturday, 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Check it out. There's a swing and a pop-up on the infield. And Jason Selvage puts his long arms out, says, I got it, and doesn't disappoint any of the Panther faithful as he squeezes it for out number 3. But another big inning for the Tigers from St. Philip as they score 2 big runs. The score at the end of 5 complete innings of play is St. Philip 8 and Penfield nothing.
As you said, Jim, the Tigers push across a couple more insurance runs here in the 5th as they get 2 runs. This time we're going to see more hits than runs in an inning. That's been unusual thus far this season. They had 2 runs on 3 hits. They were beneficiaries of a couple unfortunate plays, I guess you can say, by the Panthers. A couple nice efforts in the outfield, one by Scott Dukeman in left, which turned into a single, and one by Rob Morris as he dove for a ball hit by McGrath, which turned into a double. But whatever way you look at it, somebody's smiling at the Tigers this afternoon. They got a pair of runs. The Panthers in inning number 6 will be sending up the top of their order. Catcher Brian Clark, who's 0 for 2. Brent Lance will follow, as will Jason Hogan. Now, I say 0 for 2. That fits most of the Panther lineup this afternoon. They have 2 hits. They had a second inning single by Kurt Walters, who was injured and had to leave the game. And they had a 5th inning 1-out double by Jason Selvage. So there hasn't been a lot of hitting done by the Panthers.
No, that's right. Let's take this opportunity here in the 6th inning stretch, maybe? After 5 inning stretch?
Okay, after 5 inning stretch. I'll settle for that one.
Scott Weitzel, the director here tonight. Marty Kelly assisting him in the directing duties. And we appreciate their efforts. Camera people, Dave, I'm going to throw it to you because my list happens to be buried among a bunch of statistics. And tonight, anyway, offensive statistics from St. Phil.
Well, our camera people tonight are Margot Bai is behind the plate. Over here next to us is Jody Johnson. Down the left field line, I'm going to screw this one up again too, Jim, because I can't remember who's on the left field line. Okay, Jody says it's Brian Reitzler? Brian Reisler. So a lot of credit to Jody this afternoon as she's helping us out in more ways than one. First pitch to Brian Clark is a called strike.
Called strike on Dave Eubanks that time. you missed that last one, right?
Here, Jody, take the microphone.
Oh, no problem. We still have you here in the booth. 1 strike now on the batter to lead off the 6th inning. Brian Clark, 250 average coming in. He's a catcher, but he's quick. He's a junior, and he is the leadoff man here in the 6th and in the lineup tonight for Penfield.
Jody's getting a laugh out of something over there. Must be Scott's telling jokes in the background.
We can't hear what Scott says, so who knows?
I don't think maybe we don't want to hear what Scott says.
There's a pitch. Down to third it goes. Up with it quickly that time is the player from St. Phil, and not pulling his foot was Lucas. That was, of course, O'Byrick at third. Threw it a little bit high. Stretching for it was Pat Lucas, that all-city performer at first base, and somehow or another keeping his foot on the bag for the out call on the 5-3 ground out was Pat Lucas. 1 down now here in the top of 6.
He's going to bring up Brent Lance. I got a feeling Mr. Lombardo just walked over to O'Byrick and says, put a little bit more water in that squirt gun, son, and make them so they're not quite so close at first base. Pat Lucas used all, and I mean all, of his 6'4" frame to haul in that throw, or the catcher Brian Clark is safe at first base with an infield single. Lance 0 for 2 this afternoon, hit the ball to right field and to the shortstop. Let's see what he can do here in his 3rd attempt in inning number 6.
And Pete Lombardo has done a tremendous job on the mound here tonight, giving up just 2 hits so far in the contest to the Panthers. Comes in with that first pitch high for ball 1. Brent Lance, 350 average coming in, another junior, if I'm not mistaken, Dave. I want to make sure I got these guys
You're correct.
in their grades right. 1-0 count on Lance. There's a swing to shortstop. Troy Ramos up with it. Nice easy throw to Pat Lucas, and there's 2 down now here in the 6th for the Panthers.
Beautiful play made out there. That's probably the most graceful fielding play we've seen by any of the teams this afternoon. Troy just loped over, scooped the ball up in his glove, and in one motion, as Alan Trammell would do it, throws the runner out at first base rather easily. Jason Hogan now steps to the plate. Jason came into the game hitting .476. The 0 for 2 this afternoon has not helped that average at all. Jason, again, a senior, 3-sport athlete at Penfield, football, wrestling, and baseball.
And ball 1 is the count on Jason, as you've seen here on Access Vision, that ball fall low. Score, if you just joined us, St. Philip 8, Penfield nothing. We are in the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs and nobody on base for the Panthers. They are the visiting team here today, and missing on that swing, and that was fishing for something there, because that ball was definitely in the dirt. Either way, Jason Hogan swung, missed, 1-1 the count.
And sidearm curveball offering by Lombardo, and Jason Hogan didn't have a chance at that one. Can't hold up on the high fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jason Hogan.
And I would not be surprised to see Pete Lombardo come back with that sidearm variety of a delivery here and see if, Mr. Hogan might bail some hay here out of that batter's box.
Look for the sidearm curveball to Jason Hogan, and there it is. He gets
Ground
a piece
ball.
of it.
There's O'Byrick at third, off his mitt though, and that's going to have to go on a short hop error that time, I believe. That was a makeable play.
Yep, it was definitely makeable. O'Byrick tried to get it off the side of his body rather than get in front of the ball. It went up his arm, fielded by Ramos in the deep hole at short. So we scored that E5, and that's going to bring up our double strikeout victim, Scott Clothier, as he's taken 2 called rather unhappily called third strikes to Mr. Clothier. He came in this afternoon hitting .412, but 2 strikeouts are going to drop that down a little bit. Runner at first with 2 out for the Panthers.
Lombardo pitching from the stretch now. There's a curve down the line. This is possibly going to be for extra bases, and it is a fair ball, but holding up smartly at second that time, and a good, smart play, I do believe, was the runner from Penfield, number 3, Jason Hogan. That's going to go for a single. Runners at first and second now, 2 down, top of the 6th for the Panthers, but they're down 8.
You've got to go 1 base at a time unless the ball gets by an outfielder, and that's exactly what Dave Hudson said to Mr. Hogan out there at second base. Take them 1 at a time. Your run means, as I've said several times, 1 run means nothing in an 8-0 ball game. Willie Ramos seems to be a little concerned that Lombardo might be aiming the ball. Go out, give a little bit of instruction, joined at the mound by Pat Lucas and catcher Mark McGrath. Dave Hudson takes the opportunity also to talk to Scott Dukeman and say, come on, keep it going.
Well, Lombardo pitching an outstanding game. That's only the 3rd hit he has given up here tonight, Dave. And I would hazard to guess that with an 8-run lead, Willie Ramos is saying, go after these guys. They've got 4 outs, and this game's history. And I don't think they're going to score 8 runs with just 4 outs to go. And let's challenge him. So we'll see what Lombardo offers here in his pitching variety.
Yep, let's see what Dukeman can do here. He would come into the contest hitting .231. First time up, he hit a shot. And I mean a shot back at Lombardo that he knocked down and threw him out at first base. First pitch is inside, ball 1.
And inside some granules of dirt as that was low. Nice stop that time by Mark McGrath. Was in the dirt. 1-0 count now. 2 down, first and second are the runners for Penfield. They have nothing to show on the scoreboard. Just 3 hits here tonight, as we say. No runs scored. And they're down 8 here in the top of the 6th. And there's a foul tip back behind the plate for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
1-1 to Scott Dukeman here. Let's see if he can get around on a pitch. If he gets the ball in the outfield, the Panthers are going to get on the scoreboard. They've got some speed out there on the bases. Clothier is a wrestler and a football player, but he moves well.
Of course, the lefty stick in there for Penfield right now. 1-1 to count. There's a let-up pitch. Ground ball. Lonergan scoops it, throws it to Lucas for out number 3 in the top of 6. And then the score at the end of 5.5 complete innings, with St. Philip coming back in the bottom of the 6th, is the Panthers from Penfield. Nothing but the St. Philip Tigers with 8 big runs.
8 big runs, as you say, for St. Philip, with one more, well, actually, yes, just one more chance for the Panthers to do something. In that inning, the Panthers, as you said, didn't score. They did have a hit, a nice hit by Scott Clothier down the third baseline. Another threat thwarted, if you will, by the Tigers as they hold down the Panthers. No runs across as we go to the bottom of 6. The Tigers will be sending to the plate Brooke, Monica, I'll get it right if I say it slow enough, Brooke Monica, Pat Lucas, and Charles Lonergan.
Well, we apologize for misplacing a few consonants and vowels in these names at some points in this contest. It's been Brooke and Brock, and of course Dante and his good friend Danny. But either way,
Uncle Danny.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, I think he'd like one paycheck from one movie that Danny DeVito is.
Well,
in,
he'd probably rather go out there and be in the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the movie Twins, and just stand next to him.
I would hazard a guess, though, that Dante's a more accomplished ball player than Danny DeVito.
Just a tad. I've never seen Danny don the glove and the spikes, but
don't throw Don in there, boy. You're really gonna mess me up here. Dante, Dan, and Don. Either way.
Anyway, let's go with Brooke, Monica.
Folks, this is where normally you would have a commercial, so that you can just treat this as your basic.
You can go to the refrigerator and get a pop as you're watching this game on Saturday afternoon.
And leading off, Dave, to start the bottom of the 6th inning for St. Philip is
Brock Monica.
Brooke Monica.
Well, okay.
Did it again.
I'm doing well.
7.14 average on the season coming in. And he's taken 2 pitches now for balls. 2-0 the count. What has Brooke done today on the game?
So far, Brooke is 0 for 3. He hit it back to the pitcher. He was safe on an error by the shortstop and hit it to the second baseman.
And he's due. But he swings through that one, foul tip into the catcher's mitt.
I will apologize right now to Mr. and Mrs. Monica on the mispronunciation of their son's name. They know where to find me if I'm doing it wrong.
Well, you're doing it wrong. But, you know, I'm sure they'll go for that. We've talked nice about their young man because he's an accomplished ball player. Excellent. And Brooke Monica hits a ground ball to second. Up with it is Hogan. He takes his time over to Selvage and beats him by a step for out number 1 here in the in the bottom of the 6th.
Hogan takes his time with those throws. He hasn't put anything on them at all afternoon. Everything's been a lob over there to Selvage. Of course, it's not a very long throw, but it would seem like he'd want to put more on it than that, unless he's saving his arm to pitch in game number 2, which is highly likely because Jason has 2 of their wins this season. He's going to bring to the plate Pat Lucas, who last time up was intentionally passed. Other than that, Pat is 0 for 2.
Those people from St. Phil will remember, though, that Brock Mikely is a close name to it. And really, we have covered the sports here on Access Vision where Brock's been a major part of the St. Philip Tiger program. So we apologize, as we say, but Brooke, obviously an excellent ball player. There's a swing down the line, just foul. Whoa, that was close. And what a shot by Pat Lucas. That would have definitely been extra bases, as that goes all the way out to the tarp in right field. Foul ball, though, 1-1 the count.
Well, like I said, Pat is 0 for 2, but both times up he's hit the ball very hard to the second baseman. One time garnering an RBI in the first inning, the other time netting in a fielder's choice as Monica was forced at second base. 1-1 the count on Pat Lucas.
Saw Dr. Lucas and his wife this weekend, my wife and I did. And there's a swing and a fly ball out into short left field, and this is a mile high. Coming in is Dukeman, and he makes the grab. 2 down now here in the bottom of the 6th. But we saw Pat's parents, Dr. Lucas and his wife, as we say, and they're a very, very nice couple down there at St. Phil. And we were talking, and apparently Mike, who we don't see here on the baseball team, is playing AAU ball. That great freshman point guard. For
AAU basketball?
AAU basketball.
I know a couple of their girls
it's
players.
It's a great experience. I mean, that guy is a great player.
I know a couple of their girls players are doing the same thing, and we've got a pinch hitter here, Jim. Number 32 is going to pinch hit for Lonergan. Kind of surprising. Lonergan has been on base all 3 times, scored 3 runs, and he's going to be substituted here by... Maybe we'll have to guess at this. I don't know, Jim. Number 32. It's one of 2 people. It's either Garland or Newman, and I don't know which.
A little swing and a miss, and he's out at first.
Whichever, he is out at first base, pitcher to first, and nothing across at all for the Tigers in the 6th inning. The first time this afternoon they've been down 1-2-3. I do believe it's a little late for a 1-2-3 inning for the Panthers, but let's see what they can do in the top of the 7th inning. Their last chance, they're going to be sending up Robin Morris, Jason Selvage, and the scheduled third hitter is the pitcher, Ben Finney. Whoever that was that hit, he's going to come out of the lineup because Lonergan's already out there standing at second base for defensive purposes in the top of the 7th inning here.
So we go to the top of 7. St. Philip really enjoying this particular game. They do have an 8-0 lead, and I would imagine that much to the chagrin of the Panther fans, this has come to a big surprise to Dave Hudson and his fellow Panthers over there. I don't think they expected this kind of onslaught.
No, I don't think so either. People were asking last night at softball practice. We've got players on our team that have participated at every school. They said, you know, who are the teams to beat? And everybody says, well, Lakeview. Well, Lakeview got knocked off last night. The next best team that we could come up with was the Penfield Panthers, as they hold a 3-4 record as they get ready to go into the Cereal City this weekend. But these Tigers are showing some moxie here as they are holding the Panthers down. They've only given up 3 hits. Has Lombardo, which is strongly contrary to what he's done in the past. He'd given up 14 hits in 10 2/3 innings pitched, but now in this game, 3 hits, none of which have been to any damage to the Tigers, and he's on his way to a shutout here as he opens up the top of the 7th inning.
And I hope you didn't jinx a young man. That was Tony Newman that last time at the plate, Dave. I know you said that you thought that was him, but we want to clarify that was him. He was first pitch hitting and did ground to the pitcher, and then was thrown out at first base to end the inning. But Tony Newman did get into the contest there and took a whack at it. Not successful this time. He'll come back later in this doubleheader, I'm sure. 8-0, St. Phil on top here. It's 3 outs to go, and Lombardo, as you say, has a win in his belt. But we've got 3 outs, and Penfield's still alive.
Rob Morris, first pitch hitting.
Morris grounds to first, and over to covers. Lombardo beating the play, and that's one of the nicest plays of the night right there, as Lucas ranged far to his right, being the lefty, throws across his body as he picked up the ground ball over to Lombardo covering, and he did beat the runner Morris by a step there. 1 down now, and a nice play to start the 7th.
That's right, nice play. That's the play that the pros work on all spring long, and it's a tough play to make with a pitcher cover. No, you can't.
That's great.
It's going to bring to the plate Jason Selvage, who has one of the 2 hits. He has been on base twice as they back up the center fielder. Well, who they got out there now, Jim? Have they changed center fielders, or?
Well, I was so intent on finding out.
No, it's Monica out in center field, and they back him up because last time Jason Selvage.
Monica. He's been out there all game long.
Okay, as Selvage hit the ball out there, hits it hard again. A nice attempt by Ramos. Monica fields it and throws it back in. No advance. 2 hits now for Jason Selvage this afternoon.
And Selvage has salvaged part of the attack for Penfield, as he has half of their hits. Only 4 hits on the afternoon here for Penfield, but Jason Selvage looks tremendous at the plate. And he's batting in the number 7 spot here in the lineup. He came in batting .353 and has done nothing to hurt that average, and shown tremendous power also.
We're also going to have a pinch hitter, as I suspected, for Ben Finney. This is Matt Sleeper as he takes the first pitch wide. Matt comes into the contest without a batting average. He has been 0 for 5 on the season, basically used as a pinch hitter by Coach Dave Hudson.
Another pitch low, 2-0 the count on him. So Sleeper slips into the lineup here quickly as a pinch hitter. We've got a man on first, 1 down. Penfield down by a tremendous amount here in baseball, and only 2 outs to go here in the 7th inning for a St. Philip victory. But Sleeper looks to start something. Takes one high. 3-0 the count right now, and Lombardo kind of aiming the ball, as Willie would say, I think, at this point. Lombardo just needs to throw strikes right now.
Yeah, throw strikes. Let your fielders do the work behind you. If you throw balls, they definitely aren't going to swing at them. They don't want to put another runner on here, but that's ball 4 to Sleeper. 2 runners on with 1 out for the Panthers.
Tell you, Dave, we haven't talked about this, and I can't remember exactly what the count was as far as when this game started on the clock. But this has been a quick contest.
Well, we got started about 5 minutes late, Jim, and right now it's 6:15. So we've been going a little over 2 hours, which isn't too bad for a varsity game because you've got pitchers that do throw strikes.
Well, okay, so we started at 4:35, and it's.
Okay, I'm sorry, 4:35,
it hasn't
right?
Been 2 hours yet. That's why
I was thinking it was 4 o'clock. I was thinking it started at 4. We've got another pinch hitter, Kevin Gibson, pinch hitting for Kosmeric here in the 7th inning. Again, 2 runners on, 1 man out. Gibson at the plate with a ball 1 count.
Lombardo doesn't mess around out there on the mound. That was my point. He gets the ball and throws it right back in there. Right now, he throws it in for a strike. 1-1 the count now. But not too much messing around by either team at the mound. They get it and they throw it in there and throw strikes.
Yeah, you want to go at Gibson again, a player without a batting average. Don't want to put him on base, load the bases for the top of the order, because then you could be in some trouble.
And not pitching from the stretch, and the breaking ball that time by Lombardo does float in low and inside. 2-1 the count now, but obviously Willie Ramos and Willie Ball over there for St. Phil does not want Lombardo worrying about these runners, because their runs mean nothing.
Yep, just throw the ball across the plate, get an out.
There's a pitch right at the knees, strike 2. 2-2 the count now. 1 down, first and second are the runners for Penfield. Only 4 hits on the contest so far and no runs to show for it. Looking to get something going here in the top of the 7th, and if they're going to get it going, they've got to do it now.
Gibson up there, I don't know if he's up there to swing. He's kind of taken all 4 pitches. See what he does here with a 2-2 pitch.
And he does swing, and there's a pop-up, and Pat Lucas, that all-city performer, fades into foul territory, puts it away with that big left-handed glove of his. And it's going to be 2 down now on the foul out to first base.
That's going to leave it all up to Brian Clark. We've got runners in scoring position. At second is Jason Salvage. Brian Clark, 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Hit the ball well a couple of times to third base, but the third baseman's made the play both times. One time that was Tim Channels. The last time it was Jason O'Byrick, as he just barely threw him out at first base. Let's see if Brian can keep it going for the Panthers here as Lombardo is ready to throw.
I've been impressed with Brian Clark behind the plate. And he smacks one in the hole between short and third, just underneath O'Byrick's mitt. And the bases are going to be loaded. And let's see what Dave calls this. And it's an error on the official scoreboard up there.
Well, I was going to score it the other way. He had the range far to his glove side.
Absolutely.
You got to score that a base hit for Brian Clark, which is the second of the inning. As you said, Jim, it loads the bases for the Panthers. And that's going to bring up Brent Lance, who also is 0 for 3. Brent did come into the contest, though, hitting .350.
The official Access Vision account of that particular play is base hit for Brian Clark. That's what we're going to agree on, because I thought it was a base hit, too.
That's the first time I've seen anything flashed up on the board other than outs and runs and what inning.
A couple times, but I don't know if it's official or not. Either way, we're going to call it a hit in our books here. And Brian Clark, you can say thank you very much, even if it is officially an error.
I don't think there's a thank you there. That was he hit the ball hard, and he did hit it in the hole. O'Byrick barely got a glove on it because it got out to DeVito in left field.
Yeah, and ball too high from Lombardo. He's in a jam here. No big deal as far as the scoreboard at this point, because a grand slam here only makes the deficit half as much. Down 8 are the Panthers.
I don't think Lance has got the power to hit a grand slam. The Panthers only have 1 home run on the season, and that was hit by Brian Clark. So Lance hasn't even got an extra base hit. He's got 7 singles to his credit coming into tonight's game.
And ball 3 high. Scoreboard had it 4, but it's ball 3 high. 3-0 count. And definitely tiring somewhat is Lombardo, as he is aiming the ball at this point. You can tell by his motion.
Yeah, he's not throwing it at the plate. He's aiming it, trying to hit the glove. And there's ball 4 high. There goes his shutout.
And unfortunately for the St. Philip Tigers, as you say, the shutout is off the board. And apparently you did jinx the young man, as you did talk about the shutout coming into the 7th.
Yeah, I talked about the shutout, and he's walked a couple of batters here in the 7th inning, which he's been his own worst enemy with those walks. When you're up 8-0, you throw strikes. Yeah, you're going to give up a couple of hits, which he has this inning, but you've got a better chance of getting them out when they hit the ball than when all you're doing is playing catch with your catcher Mark McGrath.
But if you're the Panthers, you got to swing at strikes, and stepping in is Jason Hogan, 476 batter coming in, and he takes the first one for a ball. And I'd take everything until this young man proves that he still has that arm to throw strikes at this point.
I don't know who Willie might have in mind to throw if Lombardo can't finish, but he's losing it right here, I got a feeling.
Yeah. There's a strike. 1-1 the count. If it's me, I'm not worried yet. Bases are loaded. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Right now, the score is St. Philip 8, Penfield 1. Like I say, the bases are loaded, but there are 2 out. 1 out to go, and this is a complete game victory for Lombardo and the Tigers, so I wouldn't be worried at this point. Breaking ball hit down the line, just fouled on the third base line, and boy, that would have been a big smash in this contest.
That's why you got to worry, Jim, because, yeah, 4 runs only makes it 8-5, but they've got the heart of their order coming up. They're big hitters, Hogan, Clothier, Dukeman, Morris. And then we're right back to where Salvage is, and Salvage has proved tonight that he can hit Lombardo's offerings, as he's got 2 of the 5 hits. So let's see if they can get Jason Hogan here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Look for the curveball here.
And you're keeping it interesting for Panther fans, that's for sure. And here's Lombardo. Swinging, or it's not a swing, but a pitch, and it comes in just high. No swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count here on Hogan.
Well, he changed up on me. I thought he'd throw the curveball, but he threw the high chin music, maybe setting up the curveball here on 2-2, getting Mr. Hogan bailing out and swinging off his heels.
And coming in high, and that ball gets away from the catcher. McGrath had not done that all night, but that one goes as a passed ball, I think Mr. Eubanks will rule. And the runners move up, and a run scores now. 8-2 as the Panthers have runners at second and third with 2 outs, top of the 7th, and a run home on that passed ball. Is that what you're going to call it? That was a high pitch.
It's a borderline pitch. I think he should have caught it too. I'll rule it a pass ball on that one, just so we don't argue tonight, because this one's going to be over. One more pitch. Mr. Lombardo wants to put it in the book. I know Mr. Hogan wants to keep it going, but let's see which of the 2 forces win.
Here's the pitch, a breaking ball. There's one back to the mound, and Lombardo catches it, scoops it to Lucas. That's all there is. It's all over. The St. Philip Tigers have come out here to C.O. Brown Field with just 1 lone victory so far in this season, and they have put it to the Penfield Panthers in a night where they did it offensively, they did it defensively, and they did it from the mound. As giving up just 5 hits tonight was the pitcher, Pete Lombardo, going the distance. Final score tonight, the St. Philip Tigers 8 and the Penfield Panthers 2. And Dave, as you total up some statistics, and they might be totaled because you're so quick and adept at this, that I'm going to throw it to you and give us your statistical and analytical viewpoints of what happened tonight in this contest.
Well, I don't know about what you're saying there, Jim, about being adept.
3-syllable words.
Yeah, I know those nickel words coming out of your mouth. I'm not sure about. The line score on tonight's game for the St. Phil Tigers, they had 8 runs on 7 hits. They committed just 2 errors tonight, which is something that you had pointed out at the beginning of the game was something that they needed to be worried about. For the Panthers, they scored just 2 runs on 6 hits. The Panthers committed 5 very costly errors. The winning pitcher, Mr. Lombardo, first name Pete, not Guy. Pete Lombardo is the winning pitcher. He struck out 2 batters, walked 3, and helped his own cause in the batter's box by knocking in 3 runs with 2 hits of his own. The losing pitcher has been Ben Finney. Ben struck out 1 batter, walked 2. He hit 1 batter. He gave up all 7 hits. Both pitchers go the distance. And as for tonight's game, Jim, I think the Tigers had a little bit to prove here. They'd come in, as you said, at 1 and 5. They go out of here and get ready to go to the Cereal City Tournament with a win under their belt against what I would have considered to be the 2nd best team in the city, the Penfield Panthers. They came in at 3-4, 2-2 in the league. I'm sure Dave Hudson is not real happy with his team's performance. They had a couple of good performances, though, by Jason Salvage, who had 2 of the 6 hits, also scored 1 of the runs. I thought Ben Finney pitched a very good ball game. He got no defensive help, though, this afternoon from his team as they committed 5 errors behind him. He only walked a couple of batters. He did hit a batter, which didn't prove to hurt him. What really proved to hurt him was the fact that he didn't get any defensive help.
And very quick and very thorough synopsis of this contest. Thank you very much for the statistics and your analysis. Viewpoints are all very much appreciated here by the Access Vision folks and, of course, those people out there in TV land. But I agree with you on everything you said. I want to point out a couple more things. I thought that possibly one of the key plays in the game was early in the contest when Penfield had to switch their lineup around because of injury to Kurt Walters, their shortstop. And, of course, shortstop is one of the key positions, if not the key position on your team. When you have your shortstop go out, it changes everything, possibly the confidence level. I don't know, but that seemed to take all the wind out of the Panther sails before they ever got started.
Yeah, I think when Kurt got hurt, and I never did hear a report on what happened to him, but when he got hurt, they had to move some players into positions that I'm sure they're not regularly playing. Jimmy Kosmarek moved over there from third base. He did an admirable job. He didn't have very many chances out there, But when you lose your senior leader on the infield in Kurt Walters, the Panthers, their heads went down, and you could see that they lost a little bit of confidence. Dave Hudson now talking to his young team over there in the dugout, and I don't see any smiles in the Panther dugout. Of course, I wouldn't be smiling either if I'd just come out on the losing end of an 8-2 score this afternoon.
And if anything, Panthers over there dressed in their green or green with envy from the Tigers' victory, because the Tigers really had it rolling offensively, defensively, and as we say, Lombardo just had everything under the control of his pitching slants today. That last inning there was a little bit bumpy for the young man, but giving up just those 2 runs and basically in control the whole way long, I thought just was excellent tonight from the mound.
Yeah, he did the all-around. I think he'd have to be, if we had the choice of giving an MVP, I think we'd have to give it to Pete Lombardo. He pitched a complete game, and when I say complete, I don't just mean he pitched 7 innings. He did everything right out there. He fielded well. He threw the strikes when he needed to throw strikes, and he helped himself at the plate. Like I said, he had 2 hits, drove in 3 runs this afternoon, and he was the attack for the Tigers.
And of course, our good friend Mr. Lucas pops his head in here. And your young man there, your son at first base, played a nice game today. Pat made especially defensively, I thought. He had some solid foul balls more so than anything, but he had some nice plays out there in the field. Defensively, I thought he was outstanding, and I thought the Tigers had a couple other players that really shined today. And Dr. Lucas, can I ask you real quick, Mike, is he playing AAU basketball? Is that the understanding? That okay, so we want to wish Mike Lucas some luck in improving his basketball skills. Well, Dave, I think we probably ought to get out of here. St. Philip is victorious in this game tonight against Penfield. They win 8-2. And any final comments by yourself?
Nothing, Jim.